What is going on? Is this working right now?
I'm checking on mine. Let me refresh.
Yeah, let's hit refresh. And what is? I think
Still
I don't
says
know.
waiting.
I screwed this up. Yeah, because it says it's waiting. But let's go.
I got a notification on my phone. Actually, it's buffering, and we're good. We're on.
Okay, never mind. We're good. All right. Well, hey guys, thank you for tuning in. I am back here on the CascadeScents Fragrance Station. This time for Team Top 5 Live for unseen circumstances. We are doing this on my channel this time. That being said, I'm joined with some of the homies. So I will introduce myself first, mainly because I'm already talking. But my name's Manny. CascadeScents from Niagara Falls, hence the name Cascade, if you know what I'm saying. That being said, my scent of the day is this right here. It's called Siren by House Matriarch, the new collaboration with singer-songwriter, all-around entertainer Emily Haynes. And this right here is just super lovely as far as its take on like a rooty, powdery sandalwood with some floral nuances. It's just such a lovely scent. So that's what I am wearing today. And of course, you guys also know me as #standard, or the standard, because I almost named this channel Standard Scents. Anyway, next person on, please introduce yourself with your, I believe, microphone setup. What's going on? Who are you? Where are you from?
That's me. Okay. All right. It's Bradley from the channel TRIPLEINC from Virginia. I was in Ohio when I woke up this morning, visiting some family on Thanksgiving, but I'm back home, back in Virginia, back on the stream with the boys, Team Top 5. So my nickname is Too Fresh. Take a look at my collection. I got a lot of fresh scents back there. So that's why I'm called Too Fresh. And my scent of the day is this right here, Chergui from Serge Lutens. Breaking in this bottle, actually my cap broke, so I have to use that as a splash, but that's okay. And loving this stuff a lot. Love the amber and the tobacco in there. So that's my scent of the day. Looking forward to the stream.
Yeah, we're looking forward to having you on too. Thank you, brother. And also, what's cool about Chergui, or just Serge Lutens fragrances in general, is that even if you do break the sprayer, and that's not supposed to happen, of course, you do have the option to screw on the ball top instead for traveling, or in case you need to decant it. So, yeah, if you guys don't know that about Serge Lutens fragrances, I think that's kind of dope. Anyway, we have one more person on stream today. Who are you and where are you from?
Who we're talking about?
Wow.
Just kidding, guys.
Passion,
hey,
right?
I'm Timmy from the channel Imagine Scent. You guys may all know me. And my scent of the day today is actually Once It Was White, a fragrance that I wrote, designed, and I had a perfumer made it for me, and that perfumer is Peter from the channel Fragrance Review. So this is my own personal scent that you can say it smells really good. I'm not gonna tell you guys what it smells like because you guys never get to smell it, I guess, sadly. But yeah, glad to be on Team Top 5 today. My nickname is the Gourmand because I love to eat a lot of food on the stream, and I like gourmand fragrances.
Very appropriate. And thank you for coming through, fam, as always. And lovely to hear about Mr. Fragrance View and his potential upstart fragrance brand. And of course, he's a lovely nose, and he's welcome on stream anytime. Anyway, to all the stream monsters watching, thank you for tuning in yourselves. Please tell us your scents of the day in the comments section below or beside, depending on what kind of browser you're using. And yeah, we'd really appreciate that. So let us know. And if there's something we should know about certain scents, any recommendations, anything you want us to check out, yeah, let us know too. That's going to be awesome. Anyway, Black Friday already happened. Cyber Monday is tomorrow. So we're talking U.S. Thanksgiving. So we're talking a lot of things America. #MERICA. See, Brad knows what I'm talking about.
Yeah, America. Yeah.
America. And that's what's up. You know, I'm not trying to come off as overly patriotic or anything. I'm not even American anymore. But since a lot of y'all are, and since that's kind of the talk right now amongst anything consumer related, because of the fact that, you know, everyone's just trying to hunt deals and stuff, we're going to talk some Black Friday riffraff and nuances. I'm going to turn this over to my good friend TRIPLEINC. I know you were away for a vacation. Yeah. That being said, did you do any Black Friday shopping or potential Cyber Monday shopping tomorrow?
No, for both. Oh, actually, no. I shouldn't say Cyber Monday. So you guys know, I don't know if you do know or not, but I work retail as one of my jobs, and I actually got out of working Black Friday this year for some miraculous reason. Don't even ask me how it happened, but like for the last 3 or 4 years, I had to work Black Friday, like, midnight to 8 shift, and very, very busy and hectic. And it kind of made me not like Black Friday because I didn't, like that whole experience. It was just chaos and all that kind of stuff. But this year I actually got some sleep during Black Friday. Plus I was in, up in Ohio, in the part of Southern Ohio where we don't really have any big cities in that sort of area. So there wasn't even really anywhere for me to go anyway, which I kind of liked, and just spent time with the family. So that was all really, really good. As far as Cyber Monday goes, I think Cyber Monday will eventually kind of knock out Black Friday just in terms of everything. Like even where I work, we're kind of like, should we even do Black Friday? Because the sales are just as good on Cyber Monday anyway, and there's more profit, I guess. But yeah, I'll do some shopping around. If there's some good deals that come up, I might get something, but I'm not really looking for anything. So yeah, that's my answer for that.
Fair play. All righty. Let's see. Yeah, you know what? Honestly, because I used to work retail myself, and it's been a rush since I've worked something as hectic as a Black Friday type of deal. But I could imagine that it's mayhem for the most part.
Oh yeah, loco.
And I'm not sure what's worse, if you were to work in retail for Black Friday, or if you were to work a warehouse during Cyber Monday. I don't know.
Both, man. They're both their own beasts.
Yeah, it's all mayhem. It's all consumerism. That's how we do. We thank whoever beforehand, and then we get down to business, if you know what I'm saying. Yeah. So that's kind of what's up, as backwards as that is. But there are more holidays to come, and that's why I think it's paramount to have some sales before then. Yeah. So shout outs to consumerism, capitalism, and all you haters for it. That being said, our good friend Imagine Scent, Black Friday / Cyber Monday, did you buy anything, and if so, what?
Didn't buy anything at all. Like I made a pact to myself and with another friend to not buy any more fragrances for a while, actually, because I came to own too many bottles, and then the more I look at my collection, the more I'm like, man, I don't even use half of these, so I'm gonna cut down on myself. So yeah, I'm taking the cut down direction as of right now. So I didn't buy anything, and I'm not looking for anything either.
Fair play. Yeah, and I think that's I think that's a high road to take. To be honest, I see a lot of collections out there that are just collections for the sake of collections. And I mean, if you are a true collector and you like collecting stuff just in general, and you may take pride in having X amount of fragrances as much as you like having X amount of baseball cards or something like that, then I'm your biggest fan. More power to you. But
this is very different from baseball cards.
Yeah, and I get that. And as messed up as it is, this might be cheaper. That being said,
depends on what cards, I guess. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah.
Autographed ones.
Yes, but what I'm saying is that as someone who takes pride in using fragrances and like expressing myself with it and stuff like that, I say this thing on my channel at the end of my video. I say wear fragrances, because I'm kind of opposed to hype beast culture, collector culture, or collector culture in the name of
you can change it to wear all of your fragrances.
Yeah, no,
at once.
Or at once. Yeah, you can do that too. I'd rather you did that than have them
accepted,
like on our walls.
Accepted.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's true. It's true.
So I just think that's good. Just be happy with what you have, because a lot of us already have a decent amount in the grand scheme of things. I'll even go as far to say is like I have like 120 bottles, which I do. And some people would literally go up on YouTube and be like, I have 120 bottles and my collection's not that big. I'm like, that's not that big in comparison to, the red essences of the world. But to most people out there, that's batshit. So
yeah, it's literally batshit crazy if you have that big of a collection in the real world.
And we all do on the stream, which is crazy. So like that's why I didn't feel bad for not copying anything too big on Black Friday. Instead, what I did do is cop a couple of cheapies, so I recently just put an order in for Girl by Pharrell Williams, ex Comme des Garçons, believe it or not.
That bottle, right?
Yeah. So that bottle, I believe, was designed by Cause, who's a famous street artist. And I think it looks lovely, number one. I wanted it mainly because of the bottle. The scent is just okay, but it's only going to cost me a large pizza and ham sandwich, so it's no big deal. That being said, 35% off at FragranceNet. If you guys have any codes, hopefully international, for any website, please list them in the stream comments. You stream monsters, you guys are lovely. Thank you for tuning in. And I can see that all y'all are here. I appreciate that. Everyone's in full support. I see the big homie Abi in the stream as well, and I believe Tim. And I sorry if I'm infringing right now or something like that. But isn't that who you have an embargo with?
Yep, we have a pack. We have a pack. We should not to buy any more fragrances for a while.
Hey,
Hey, look who's
What's
in the
going
call.
on, guys?
And look,
going,
it's
E?
a Mitsu.
Oh, it's simply put scents.
All right.
What's going on, guys?
Now, a whole lot. We were discussing how we feel about Black Friday right now and if we picked up anything. But before I get you to respond to that, I'm going to request, please, number one, tell us your name, your channel name, and if you want to choose a nickname, you can. And what is your scent of the day?
Imitsu of Simply Put Scents, and my scent of the day, it was Prada L'Homme Intense.
Oh,
Hey, nice.
lovely.
Absolutely love that fragrance right now. So yeah,
And it's an awesome
definitely
phrase.
loving it. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's off the chain, bro.
You know
And it
what's funny?
lasts. It really lasts. You know.
I don't understand how some people have said that it is too much like the original. I think it's the perfect definition of a flanker because of the fact that
different from the original.
yeah, I mean, it has the same
Wow.
powdery, soapy vibe that Daniela Andre is known for with Prada. That being said, I get a lot of resins in that, and I think you do too. I just think it's a lovely flanker and one of the best fragrances this year for sure.
It's definitely one of the best flankers for the one of the best fragrances released this year, in my opinion, without question. Like it lasts long. It's like a fresh, clean fragrance for the nighttime. I mean, there are not too many of those when you think about it. That's a really, really cool thing. And I really like that Prada is always doing their own thing and not trying to be like other fragrance companies,
Yeah.
So they stand out to me. They're like taking Chanel's spot, in my opinion.
You know what's interesting about that? Because like Prada is known to actually stay in their lane when it comes to how they've historically done soapy fragrances. But a lot of people do feel like they've taken inspiration from Dior Eau for Men, for example, to start off that line, number one. And number two, with the Carbon release from the Prada Luna Rossa line. How do you think about that?
Well, see, I hear people make comparisons to Dior Homme and what Prada did with L'Homme. And even though it's an iris heavy fragrance, they're totally two different types of iris scents, Homme to me is lipstick. I don't really get that as much from Prada L'Homme.
Okay.
Dior Homme to me is lipstick. That's like cosmetic bag lipstick.
All right.
To me, Prada is a little bit more of a cleaner iris. It's much more of a fresher iris. So it's like, they're not in the same lane. When I hear people mention like a Dior Homme Low, I think it is, that smells so much like the original L'Homme by Prada. I don't get that connection at all. I may be bugging.
Yeah, no, like skin chemistry is a thing, right? So I feel like depending on like how certain base notes react on you, that's another thing. Like your sillage and your scent cloud, essentially.
Do any of you guys get that similarity between L'Homme Eau and Prada L'Homme?
I like Prada L'Homme more than Dior Homme Eau. Like
By far.
yeah, because I wear Prada L'Homme. My friend owns Dior Homme Eau, but I remember when I smell Dior Homme Eau, I'm not that impressed by it. But when I smell Prada L'Homme, I like it. There's the difference there.
And so many people say they smell alike. Do you get that? Do any of you get that?
I do, definitely.
I
get
the
a little bit of that, but it's not entirely the same.
Yeah. I actually like Dior Homme Eau better than Prada L'Homme.
Really?
For some reason, yeah. Although I have been finding a little bit of performance issues because they reformulated this one really, really bad. I used to have like a little mini splash from, I think when it first came out, and it was like really strong. But now I got this one, and now it's just weak.
Brad just got disconnected for liking Dior Homme Eau over Prada L'Homme.
And Eau for Men has definitely been reformulated. Yes.
Oh yeah, and I tried the new Prada L'Homme Low, one with like the kind of the light blue looking thing. I did not like that one bit at all.
We should make Prada L'Homme even weaker than it already is.
Exactly.
Prada L'Homme Low.
It's already a fresh enough scent. Why make a low version?
They should call it Prada. They should call it Prada L'Homme Low, like LOW.
No, they should call it Prada L'Homme Invictus because that's what they were trying to do.
Oh my god.
Pretty
Oh
much.
god.
It's pretty much like a
Got it.
sweet. It's a sweet freshie. It's like Invictus. You know, not even Invictus Aqua because that has less sweetness than the low version of L'Homme by Prada. But yeah, it's crazy.
Fair play. Yeah. Alrighty. Quick question as well. I know that you are. I know, like, for all of us, like, and I know historically you've done various videos for, like, you know, certain deals that you've picked up on for, like, YouTube and whatnot, like under $35 videos and stuff. Did you cop anything this Black Friday, or are you planning to for Cyber Monday by any chance?
Wow. To be honest, not really, because like I've been like on this new thing really lately. Like I get caught up in passionate things, and like I drop them and then I pick them up again. And like a passion that I used to have like really in high school was like polo, Ralph Lauren clothing. And like he recently, you know, and he recently released like a bunch of old school like items that he didn't have, like he had from like 1992. And it's like they were like really, really expensive, like collector item pieces, and he just re-released them, small quantities. So there were people like lining up to get vouchers or whatever. Bro, I got so hooked up on that. Like it was like, damn, I really, really like left out my fragrance thing. But there are a few fragrances that I'm definitely like on the hunt for. I'm definitely trying to get my hands on at some point. I would say the new Valentino Noir Absolute is one of them. It reminds me so much of Calvin Klein's Gold Euphoria or Euphoria Gold, I believe. It's pretty much the same fragrance except it's much more smoother than Gold Euphoria. But yeah, that's something I really, really want. And I think that's really the main fragrance that I really want right now.
Nice.
Like this is Euphoria Gold, man or woman?
Yeah, the man version.
Oh, the man version. Okay.
It's like that saffron, like sweet, thick, dense thing going on. It's pretty much the same smell after a while. Oh, and it also ends up smelling like Stash by Sarah Jessica Parker, like way down in the dry down. It's pretty interesting.
I heard that one's lovely. I've yet to smell it myself. Like, I wish we have more distribution for a certain sense, because like I know they sell it at like Ulta Beauty and stuff.
Yeah, you want a stash for stash.
Yeah, pretty much. Also, it's funny you brought up polo because like this is kind of like off track, but yeah, because I saw a couple like Torontonians camping for some polo as well.
That's what they were trying to get, bro. That 1992 collection.
Like we're talking that OG like low life polo sport.
Yes.
That's that era of polo.
Yes. And
that's so cool.
And it's like people are on that hunt for those items. Like you didn't even have to be in that era, but people really like Chris Brown wasn't around when like that stuff was going down. But yeah, like he's buying them all. Like everybody's trying to get these new low items. It's crazy. It's crazy.
And this is kind of a sidetrack as well. But do any of you believe that with retroing of certain styles of clothing, do you think that correlates into the fragrance industry at all? Like, what do you think we can see resurface as a trend?
That's a great question, man.
How about some like powerhouse, super masculine, crazy stuff like, you know, at the end of the 80s, beginning of the 90s with like Fahrenheit, Heroes and all that stuff, making a revolution. You know, we got all these feminine metrosexual scents, Valentino 110s, Do Your Own, all that kind of stuff. What if it flips the script again and goes like super, you know, hair on your chest, like the Ashtons, you know, cut mustache, that kind of thing. Who knows, man?
Tom Selleck's, yeah.
But you know what's crazy, Brad? When people, when a fragrance company does that, then they get trashed. Like when Gucci did Gucci Guilty Absolute. Yeah. That's a very manly fragrance, and people call it barbecue sauce. Exactly. See?
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Maybe, I don't know. Maybe those things like need time.
You can't please this finicky group.
I can't breathe. That's awesome. But you know, it's funny because like I recently did a video where I discussed like what's actually selling like in North America or just in general. And a lot of what's selling is a lot of one cologne type of guys keep buying the same fragrances. So a lot of you know, basically what I know E would define as modern day generics, that stuff is selling. or at least
Yeah.
the initial versions, like the Savages, the Bleu de Chanel's, and a Dylan Blue to a certain extent.
Yeah.
So that stuff sells, and it's weird to see that certain niche fragrances are starting to sell fairly well too. The Joe Malones and the Tom Fords, mainly in North America. That being said, like as much of those things are doing well, and I'm sure they'll continue to do well next year. I'm not sure what's the next big designer hype train, and I think that's why male fragrance mainstream perfumery is in an interesting spot right now, because a lot of these companies tried to do the fresh route. To like, you know, to their dismay, I don't think it's been working out within the grassroots fragrance community or sales wise. So I just think it's interesting for what we see next year. And I can't wait. That being said, Black Friday wise, I think we didn't really strike out. We just kind of, you know, have a little embargo per se. So there's that.
Cody.
Yeah, pretty much. And I think that maybe Cyber Monday has something nice for us to come. Again, if you guys in the comments, any of you stream monsters, if you guys have any deals that you'd like to share with the class, feel free. We'd really appreciate it. Shout outs to every one of y'all for coming through and continuing to support us. And if you guys haven't yet, I've yet to throw his details down into the description, but feel free to check out E at Simply Put Scents. I just put him in the title, but you guys know where you can find us, hopefully. Anyway, the title of this video.
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Yeah.
Is Timmy's fragrance going on sale on Cyber Monday?
Oh, which one?
Yeah.
Like what,
Your fragrance, bro. Yes, yo.
I don't know. Let's see. Like,
I
think House of Matriarch is having a sale.
Yeah.
No clue.
it is.
I want that fragrance. I gotta have that fragrance.
I still
you tried it?
It's amazing.
Yeah.
Like I smelled it at bro, I was so impressed I could not get over it. Like I was like, bro, really? I was so impressed. I couldn't get over like how great that smell was. I was just blown away. Blown away. I smelled it at Carlos's house.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, quick
you
thing.
a lucky bum, man.
Same.
Quick thing. From what I know, House of Matriarch has that 24% off sale still.
All right.
So if anyone's looking to cop the reissue of Tuca Total by House of Matriarch, I still think she has pre-orders available.
It's not coming back until summer after this batch is released, because the first run of it was sold out in the first month, and now she's doing a second run here for this Black Friday, Cyber Monday stuff. Then after this sold out, it's not going to be back till summer 2018.
Oh my gosh! That's
At least
so
you can.
cool.
At least you can, like, that's a good thing though. For like, you can pick it up on sale now, or pick it up when you're gonna use it anyway.
Yeah, when it's appropriate
like,
to use it.
It's like iPhone type. Like this is so cool, bro. It's
sold
like
out
Supreme,
hotcakes.
like new release of Nikes and that's.
And it's funny because like we speak of Supreme and just hype releases and people sleeping outside for clothes, and we mentioned this earlier as well. How this sold out almost immediately.
Cacao Claret?
No, this is
that's
Siren.
The new Siren.
Oh.
So this is a fragrance done in collaboration with Emily Haynes of Metric. I'm actually doing her PR for this scent in my country. I have to interview her tomorrow.
Fancy.
So this is kind of like a big deal for me.
Matriarch's been doing good this past couple months.
Yeah.
So I honestly can't wait for that. Also, because of that, since I have to do this shit in the morning, we're going to have a shorter stream than usual, guys. So I'm sorry. That being said, Matriarch's been putting in work. Hopefully you guys can pre-order this again, but right now it's sold out. Anyway, we have some things to get to. If you guys have any questions, feel free to toss us some questions in the comment section. Please let us know. And we also have some things we want to get through. This is called American Perfumery for a reason. That's what we're discussing. So I say American, and might not be the American you guys might be thinking of. You might be thinking of like straight up indie houses that are based in America using American perfumers or whatnot. But no, we don't discriminate here. We're going to talk about everyone. So I feel like the most prolific perfume brand in America, based on like notoriety, on like how they actually look, is Bond Number 9. So that's who we're going to talk about first. And this
Wait a minute, really?
Vaughn,
Wow,
probably.
That's interesting.
I mean, it's funny because they have such a rep. It's weird. They actually don't have a distributor in my country anymore, which is really insane. So that's different. That being said, Bond, we're talking about the hot or not segment of the show this time. So the first hot or not is for Bond, and we're gonna kick it off with our guest, Mitsu. Is Bond number 9 hot or not, and why?
Wow. It's hot sometimes and not other times.
That's
Is
the
that
best
like
answer.
hedging, right? I would say that I would prefer other companies, so I would say they're not.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I mean, I only have one Bond fragrance, and that is Scent of Peace for him. And you know, I find like a lot of their fragrances overpriced, to be honest with you. I don't always appreciate like the reputation of the owner and like, you know, their you know, the way she allegedly
Just keeping it 100. I feel you. I feel you.
the way she allegedly, because you know we got to do this nowadays. You can't state anything. You have to allegedly. Okay, so
unless it's beyond a shadow of a doubt and conclusive. Yeah.
Well, you know, but allegedly she's not the most warm and decent person. So yeah, that's not a good look for the brand also. But I'm not a fan.
Hashtag channel takedown, if you guys know what I'm saying. I'm not gonna delve into that, but I feel you, like for real. Brad, how do you feel about Bond number 9? Are they hot or not in your books?
All right. Do you want to skip me? Because I don't have much good to say about it.
No, this is why I'm going to you.
Okay. Yeah, I mean, what's the biggest thing when you talk about Bond number 9 is they're overpriced and the quality is not up to par with that price, and their uniqueness, they rip off a lot of other people. Those are the big complaints. Just going to come out there and say, you know.
Can I say allegedly?
Allegedly.
There you
everything. Yeah, there you go. So for me, I mean, I don't own any Bonds again. Like I've tried out almost everything that they have. You know, nothing really stuck out to me. Like, you know, that made me want to go get a bottle of them. I also don't even like the bottle designs anyway. They're kind of, I just don't like them. There's something about them just doesn't click with me. I don't know. So yeah, I just never was really interested in the house, to be honest. And they're definitely a pass for me. So they are not in my book.
The Andy Warhol isn't that bad.
Yeah, I mean,
true.
That's the one that I think they really hit a home run on. But of course, that's discontinued figures, right?
Discontinued the good stuff, which makes no sense for a brand like Bond because like that sold out like fairly well. And I understand that they had a counter deal with like, you know, and I think Andy Warhol's agency, and that's why they did that. I think that's okay. And that's also why it's discontinued. Kind of like how the I Love New York stuff is kind of gone too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So like, I understand you only have those deals for a certain amount of time, but it'd be lovely if, I don't know how that works because I wonder if that campaign owned those oils and that's why they can't produce it anymore. Because it would be smart if they can produce those fragrances under a different name.
But see, if you know a scent like that does so well, it would be nothing for you to just switch up one note with another note and re-release it with another name.
Exactly.
People will still buy it.
Yeah,
you know, I mean, I don't understand why brands don't think like that. It's weird.
Yeah, no, it's definitely weird. But I don't know. Who knows? Tim, how do you feel about this? Bond number 9, hot or not?
Echoing Brad's statement, 100%. So yeah, he said everything that I was gonna say. They allegedly copy a bunch of fragrances. I don't know if that's
supposedly.
True. Well, you know,
yeah. Take a look at half their fragrances, and
they're allegedly overpriced too. I don't know about that. You know, quality is allegedly bad. So I would say not a hot for me. Not a hot. Yeah.
Okay. So we got 3 knots. I'm gonna cap it off by saying not as well. Here's the thing. When you're paying for a scent like a Scent of Peace for Him, which I believe retails for what, $300 or something like that.
Woo!
Like, I can't fathom that. Like, I like the scent a lot. I think it's very good. But for the oil quality you do get, I just don't think it's like $3.30 per ml. I just looked it up. It's $330 for 100.
Oh my.
I think that's a little much. I think you're mainly paying into the presentation, and even the presentation itself doesn't feel as pristine in hand. Like the caps are really plasticky, and I think it's a little shoddy.
Yeah.
I think they do a good job of Photoshop on their website. Everything looks dope, or even in real life, until you actually hold it, and then you spray it, and I'm like, there's no way this is, 1/3 of a stack. Like I couldn't drop that cash, although I have in the past. And like I'm going to echo what you guys have said. Allegedly,
Manny would rather buy 2 Comme des Garçons hoodie at $300 a piece than bundle.
Yeah. That makes so much sense.
Tim,
bro.
he's wondering.
It's $300 on a patch, on a heart patch, bro. The rest
Can
is
you not right now? Like
now that is crazy, bro. Like
Yeah.
at least Ralph
That's
Lauren
too
gives
much.
you. At least Ralphie gives you like
Oh,
like a
man.
teddy bear and like oh
God.
man, come to
Okay.
Garçon, bro.
Can someone just make a trigger gif?
Unbelievable.
Shake your camera. You're like,
Shake your camera.
Unbelievable.
I'm so
That
triggered.
is the rip off.
we need George's horrible microphone back so he can make all those static
Yo,
noises.
I'm not gonna front though. Like I need to come up with like a meme that says, like it would be like me with like Comme des Garçons sweater, but like I'm holding up like a fragrance that I really like, and at the top it will say, when your sweater gets more compliments than your fragrance does.
You're gonna rob Manny. Don't take his wallet. Take his sweater.
Yeah.
You know,
Oh, can I try that on real quick? Okay.
seriously.
Brutal.
It would be really easy. Still all his fragrances and a couple of hoodies and you're straight. That's grand larceny right there.
You do some serious time for that.
Yeah, that's straight up felony right there.
Unbelievable. Bro, like
So
really, the hoodies. Let's talk about it. No, I'm kidding.
We're having this okay, y'all want to know something? It's funny. The only thing I bought for Black Friday outside of one fragrance is a hoodie. I bought this, like, I thought it looked cool. It has like the Titanic on it and it's like sinking, and I got like 30% off of that. So like that's cool. That being said, Comme des Garçons hoodies, yeah, those don't get discounted. I paid.
You gotta ask Manny. Like Manny, in the past 3 months, how much money have you spent on sweaters in general?
Are we having this conversation?
If it's over $1,000, I'm leaving.
It's over a
Oh
grand
my God.
sweater.
If it is, I'm leaving.
And
You
he's got
know
like 2 sweaters. Like
You said you know it. Oh, it's
You know it's over a stack. Stop that.
oh my god, over.
jeez,
Anyway,
bro.
we are going to the next
dang.
brand for hot or not.
You could be like, bro, like I'll trade you my Comme des Garçons hoodie for your House of Matriarch, bro.
Actually,
You can
I
really
might
do
just
that.
do that in the near future. I know Tim would never
Wow.
agree. That being said, speaking of House of
Yeah.
Matriarch,
Make one myself for Comme des Garçons.
speaking
Yeah,
of House
yo,
of
you can-
Matriarch, they are the next up on hot or not. So House of Matriarch, you guys know because they are, or if you do know, or if you don't know, they're a Seattle brand that specializes in doing very high-level artisan natural perfumery. And of
Seattle,
course, I've
huh?
mentioned them as
Hot.
well. So before we get to Tim, for obvious reasons, and myself, I want to know what Emitsu has to say about what he smelled from House of Matriarch.
Yeah.
Hot or not?
Oh man, definitely hot. Yeah, I would say hot for sure. Like, yeah, that's off them. That's they just make some really awesome stuff. Like, she's just like, just crazy. Like, what her skill. And yeah, like all the fragrances that I've smelled from them have been awesome. And Tim has been really great to introduce me to a couple of them. But yeah, like everything I've smelled, I really, really, really like. You know, I would definitely prefer that over a Comme des Garçons hoodie. I'm just saying.
Dang. Zing.
Ding! Now I'm playing.
No, you're not, but it's good. It's okay.
No, I'm really not. No, I'm really not. I'm playing, but not playing.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah.
But
But
it's
no,
cool.
they are off. Like she's just so talented at what she does. Like it's just mind blowing. Like, and the funny thing is like when you do natural fragrances, usually they don't always tend to come out wearable. And her natural fragrances are so wearable and easy to light. You know, which they shouldn't be. You know, because some of them are very conceptual. You know, but they end up smelling good to others, which is I guess a bonus when you're spending that kind of money, you know. But
yeah, like I didn't expect feedback to be a thing when delving into their fragrances as well, but fortunately for me, it's been very positive. So we got one hot on the board. Moving on to the big homie, Brad.
Yeah.
All right. What's up?
If it gets too hot, I'm going to have to start unbuttoning my shirt in here because they're on fire. Are you kidding me? HON?
Rated R.
Stream demonetized.
No! It's already for manual review because Brad's on this stream right now.
Sorry, guys. What can I do?
Oh my god!
Seriously, I invited you to this stream and it got taken down.
No, there's no way.
Serious. I'm dead serious.
No freaking way. You're joking, right?
I'm not joking.
Wow.
I'm just too much sauce for YouTube. I guess.
Too fire. Too lit.
You are the current generation rated R superstar.
No, I'm kind of proud of that. Actually, I'm kind of proud that I broke the system in a way.
Brad got me demonetized.
It's just too much to handle.
Oh my god, dudes! Did you know I said like you know when I like do the lady and in my videos sometimes with my first impressions I said. Well, I shouldn't say what I said because I'll probably get this one done. But like, it's amazing what gets you caught now, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's amazing. Like, and it wasn't even a bad thing. It was just it sounds kind of like you like I don't want to say it, but you saw it, right? Like I wrote it in my comment. Like I'm like, really? That is what got me demonetized?
Yeah.
Like, but I guess if you read it without really knowing the context, it kind of does sound nasty.
Which is why algorithm like this is very faulty because context is everything. And for example, I uploaded a contest video for 1821 man-made sweet tobacco spirits, and because it has the word tobacco in the title, I got demonetized. When I'm not even talking about smoking it or doing anything illicit.
Or by Killian, Apple Brandy.
Brandy got me demonetized.
Yeah.
No way.
I don't know what you're talking about, Minnie. Like my 1821 video is still monetized.
I got demonetized. I think Brad got demonetized. I think a couple other us got demonetized. You're out in Nevada in the middle of nowhere, and you are.
They're like he works with
Area 51.
It's legal there.
Area 51. He has some kind of conspiracy out there.
Yeah,
wow, that's really
it's all coming together now.
I mean,
that's awful.
Yeah, it happens. What can you do? That being said, speaking of Mr. Contraband himself, Brad, please feel free to continue on House of Matriarch.
Okay. All right. So, actually, with their presentations, I just want to start off with that. I mean, they have some of those beautiful bottles I've ever seen. So, yeah, they are pretty expensive, but at least you're getting what you pay for. Even the boxes are amazing. The bottles are amazing. I actually took a top to house this little sample. I mean, the only really exposure I have had from the house have been in some samples and little decants that I have. But yeah, I mean, there's a spot on my shelf right here for Tukatau. That's definitely my favorite from the house. Of course, Timmy's scent. Yeah, it's awesome. Yeah, I mean, you can just tell. There's, a lot of times I like, I started off with the cheapies and then kind of worked up in the niche, but this is like a pretty big step into natural, and I can kind of smell the difference in them. It's really, really cool. And yeah, like what you were saying, E, a lot of these natural scents come off very conceptual. They're kind of not really the easiest to wear, but I think most of her scents, with the exception of a couple, are pretty much wearable for the most part, which is a pretty big accomplishment. With the performance is all really good on them too. And I think it's just a home run. And I didn't even know about this house literally until like March of this year. I'd never heard of the house before. I think I actually was watching one of Timmy's videos, and I just saw this house starting to blow up. I'm like, what is this? So then, yeah, but they've come a long way. Yeah, Peter loves it.
Pete, shouts Pete. All right, so we got Too Hot.
Yeah,
and Tim, I'm not sure how much we want to talk about it, but we got Too Hot because of Too Fresh. What about you?
I don't know about this house, man. I mean,
yeah, right.
No, I love this house. Obviously, I have a fragrance made by them. But, I think, like when Pete first got me onto this house, I smelled them and I was like, these smelled like nothing I've ever personally ever smelled before. And you can tell the natural ingredients that is in there as well, because they never hurt your nose. I never get nose fatigue smelling a matriarch fragrance, because that's how naturals are. When you smell like a heavy synthetic fragrance, like try smelling Invictus Aqua straight for like 10 seconds, you'll go like nose blind, So like with matriarch, it doesn't happen to me. My nose is fine. Like it doesn't irritate my nose. you can tell the quality that's in there, the artisticness, I don't know. Christy Michelle just has a lot of talent, and I'm not gonna ramble on too much now because I can go on for hours.
And you've done it.
But yeah,
wow.
definitely hot.
Okay. Basically, I'm gonna echo what you guys said as well. If there was one thing, it's nothing to do about her perfumery, but like one thing I have a gripe with, and it's something that I'm sure she is working on / will happen in the future.
She didn't make a fragrance with you?
No. I mean,
Maddie gave her a knot because you didn't make a fragrance.
Oh no. And I'm not sure if I even let her know about this, but like distribution, like I wish, because I feel so strongly about the scents, I wish we had more access for it. I know that they're at certain Nordstroms and stuff, but I want to see this stuff at, you know, the artisan perfume shops like Etiquette here in Montreal, or Niche Essence in Toronto, or like Oswald's or something like that. I think that would be lovely. I think that could be super beneficial for, you know, the more grassroots fragrance community to get in touch with some of even her more exclusive stuff, because I understand that a lot of it's primarily online. And I know she has that ardent following online, like us, for example. But for me, like, you know, if something's so great, like I want people to know about it too. I really like her stuff, so I think that would be lovely. But you guys touch on how natural everything is. I think that's super impressive for this day and age where everyone has resorted to using synthetics. To be fair, that's the way it's always been, like especially back in the day where everything was so aldehydic and whatnot, or so fresh. Of course, to make those kind of accords and to channel that freshness, like a lot of it is super synthetic. And I know she uses some synthetics and stuff, but I smell like something like a Tuca Tatao, and it's just like breathtaking stuff. And you're not going to get nose fatigue from this because of how natural it is. And
let me just ask you a question. Do you think that, like, I feel like maybe the reason why the distribution might be the way it is, or maybe the reason why it's not as readily available in more places, could be because of the quality of the ingredients she's using, and the fact that, like, to get them at a certain quantity might not be easy?
I think partially is the regulations as well, because the US has pretty much almost no regulation. The reason it's not I know the reason it's not in Europe, at least, because it doesn't meet EU's regulation.
Like Kazimi would be banned there.
Kazimi would be banned. She used so much natural rose oil that is banned in the EU. So
wait a minute, people in the EU are not able to access her fragrances. Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. You cannot access her fragrances directly from a perfume store based there, because they would be
so messed up.
You can buy it online, but like
buy it online. But if they have to pass through something like that is a store regulated by IFRA, for example, or like, she can't. Like,
that's horrible.
So that's
EU regulates everything. It's sad.
And I would think that like, thankfully that's clearly not the case, because she has a deal with Nordstrom here, you know, who probably isn't regulated whatsoever. So that's
every perfumer should move to USA. Come on, Olivier Polge, we're waiting for you.
Yeah.
Olivier Polge, but let's be real. Olivier Polge is locked up with a Chanel, and it's over. So if you all miss that cool stuff, Midnight in Paris, the Valentino Uomos, you're not going to get that anymore from Chanel. It's over.
A moment of silence.
But how come brands don't do that? Like, how come brands don't do that? Like, why not just say, okay, well, if the EU won't allow me, if IFRA won't allow me to release a fragrance here, I'll just do like a North American only release, or a Western Hemisphere only release, or an Asian and Western only
that's
release.
Pretty much what has happened.
Really?
Yeah, because I think the only store she's distributed with is with Nordstrom.
No, I'm not meaning her in particular. I mean like other companies, instead of having to like resort to IFRA's regulation. Why not just like release a fragrance? Like, why not just do that where, like, you know, and then release it online to your European customers? Like, why not just get around the bullcrap? Like, it's weird. For
the sake of art, I would definitely appreciate that. And maybe some people will do that. To why they haven't been.
The thing is, because it just costs more money.
Really? And like, aren't certain people like more allergic to stuff?
Stock it everywhere. You know? They may have
could be a thing.
Stock in a few places instead of being able to stock it everywhere.
True.
What were you saying, Bradley? You were saying something about...
Oh, yeah. I was saying, like, I think, what was the whole thing with oak moss? Like, more people over in Europe were allergic to a certain concentration of oak moss versus in the...
I think it's more like a very small percentage of people who are allergic to oak moss.
But you get enough
complaints. The whole thing.
If you get enough complaints and petitions, like it's over. Like for example, IFRA.
I just say read the box.
It's like a knee-jerk reaction.
I mean, there's reading the box, but it's the sillage that people are caring about at work, and then writing angry complaints to workplaces who have to respond to IFRA or whatnot. So IFRA, for example,
imagine a complaint with like
a guy walked past me and my dog just collapsed and
trigger.
Hashtag triggered, yeah.
Oh my god.
But my dog's allergic to oak moss.
The thing is with IFRA, a lot of people think that there is that they're not on our side. IFRA is on our side as far as being perfume heads, because they don't want to regulate people.
They destroyed every fragrance I love.
They did,
exactly, but that's because people that's because people wrote to them about it, and then they're just in charge of having to do this. So it's not like
people bought it. A few people wrote to them, and that destroys millions of people's joy. Like
no,
absolutely ridiculous.
It is absolutely ridiculous. But how many white collar places, like even where I've worked, are very anti perfume? Like most of them, to be honest. So like I'm not shocked at all.
Then don't wear but like, what is like the work scent have like? If the workplace doesn't appreciate the fragrance, that shouldn't have anything to do with my ability to purchase that fragrance. Yeah. You know, that's ridiculous.
Yeah.
That's fascism.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it is, but like I get wanting to come off as uniform, but I mean, it's a little much.
Then have a work policy that should not affect my ability to purchase a scent that I like. You know, that like it shouldn't be affected, it shouldn't be changed, it should be left alone. And awesome.
Yeah.
It's crazy. That's just like that is fascism. Like that's literally fascism. Like
having to change a scent for the sake of it. Or if anything, what I wish they would do. And this is what I thought was the case back in the day when these flankers started coming out. But when you would see the low versions or the aqua versions, I thought that's what that was for. It's just like, okay, you wanted to wear Fahrenheit at work, but you can't. Leave Fahrenheit alone and then make Fahrenheit like aqua or something like that.
I just thought it was for the summer.
No, I get that. But you know what I'm saying? To make it for safer in case something is like super offensive to someone. I thought that's what those were supposed to be for back in the day. I get that they're
money grabs.
They're cash cows, yeah, but I think
I don't know if those people were actually allergic or they were just annoyed at fragrances.
I'm pretty sure it's that.
Right?
Because
probably
I don't like people wearing fragrances. I'm just gonna complain.
So that's that.
Get a whole notepad.
Yeah, his fragrance made me itch.
Airborne disease.
Yeah, airborne disease.
I'm sure because you didn't shower. I don't think it was my fragrance.
There you go.
It's probably that. Yeah.
Be mad at the water.
Don't hate the player. Anyway, moving on. We have another hot or not. This is another indie / niche brand, Imaginary Authors. So again, the theme is American perfumery. Hot or not, I'll start with Mitsu.
I don't have enough experience with Imaginary Authors to make a statement that's intelligent. I have smelled a couple of scents from them. City on Fire is pretty cool. I like that burning ember type of smell.
Bacon.
It's not. Yeah, well, it's kind of sweet bacon, I guess.
I mean, like, who doesn't like bacon though?
I don't get. You get bacon, bro?
Smell like it.
I get a bacon vibe.
There's what's it called? A Yankee candle called, I believe it's called Tailgate, to simulate like a tailgating like party like after a football game. And it smells like barbecue and like bacon and that's what a City on Fire
smells like. That
a City on Fire reminded me of that. I thought that was cool.
But that vanilla vibe though that it has, like it's sweet for a bacon. No, I don't eat bacon too much. Like, is there a sweet bacon out there? Like,
oh man, I'm in Canada. Of
maple
course
syrup. Oh yeah.
See. Well, damn. I don't. See, I wouldn't have known because I've never eaten no sweet bacon before. You guys, bro. That Alaskan bacon must be awesome, Timmy. Right?
Oh man.
Oh god.
It smells like a city on a fire. Wow.
I'm surprised that you haven't smelled all the Imaginary Authors since, like, considering you live so close to Twisted Lily. I think that carried the whole line there too.
I've smelled all of them, but you know what it is? Like, I haven't had enough experience with them to be able to really like give an educated like opinion on them. I've only smelt them in passing. You know, I don't think that's like a really fair. I can't really give a fair assessment with just like, yeah, I haven't had enough exposure.
I see.
What I've experienced, I've liked. You know, yeah. There's this one really rainy mineral scent that they do. Like, do you know what I'm talking about, Tim? Because I know
Is it
you're
a
like,
Serenade?
no, it's a different.
It has
one.
limestone. Shoot.
I was supposed to do it with Daver. You know,
The Cape Heartache?
no.
Shoot.
Yeah, it's on the tip of your tongue. Come on, Brad, you got it right.
No, it has limestone. It's in the white.
Mosaic?
Yes,
mosaic.
Yeah.
Forgot that.
That was pretty interesting. You know, pretty interesting. It has like a very wet, but it has like a I don't know. It's interesting. I'll put it that way. Just reminds me of like being rained on and pissed on at the same time.
I don't know if that sounds nice or not.
No, it's not really. But you know what? It's just like a mental association with me. Like I don't know what it is, but there's something about it that just reminds me of like laying on rocks, like under a waterfall, and then a reindeer just lays a piss on your leg. You know,
is that like shades of Issei Miyake Lodise, the happy vibe?
Oh no, that's way worse.
Oh, okay.
Way worse. Like Mosaic is pretty. It's interesting, P. You know, it's good. It's not bad. I liked it, but I didn't love it. You know, but yeah, I haven't really had much experience with the house, but I know he's a talented. I know he's a very talented perfumer. And I really do appreciate the brand, like presentation and the whole concept. Like it's one of the best concepts in perfumery right now, in my opinion.
Totally.
There's so many different things. Like zoologists and imaginary authors, they have it on lock with those concepts. Like insane.
Yeah. No, they're lovely. Totally. What's it called? Zoologist, actually. I know it's not out yet. I think it's coming out in a couple of days. But Camel, I've been testing out, and it's Camel's. It's like this dried fruit, date resin, very Middle Eastern, and it's not as stanky as I thought it was gonna be. So shout outs to Zoologist Perfumes for holding it down.
Wow, I expected Camel. Yeah, that's interesting.
I mean,
Camel.
If you smell it up close, yeah, but sillage wise, I don't think it's too bad because of how fruity it is.
Oh wow, a fruity Camel.
Fruity Camel, yeah, because it's about like going through like a market, you know, on like on top of on the back of a hammock, and you're like that's like the picture it's trying to create, and so you're going through like an Arabian farmer's market, and it's lovely, it's breathtaking, it's good.
Wow.
Yeah, but I love that storytelling in perfumery, which is why you know brands like Zoologists or imaginary authors have such ardent followings. But I understand you haven't had as much experience with the house, but Brad. Have you hot or not?
I'm just gonna say hot right out of the gate, so we can just get that out of the way. So I, excuse me, I got a sample set from them. I think back in the very beginning of September, and I did a video on it, like the first impressions, and I'm really impressed overall with their house and their line in general. I liked a lot of them, and like. There's a weird thing like that. I don't know if you guys get this. There's this thing that runs through all of them, like this similar sort of a note that I kind of get in all of them. I can't put my finger on what it is, but it's like I don't know if you guys, maybe it is. Who knows?
It's like how Guerlain has Guerlainade, but like they have like this like signature stamp of approval that makes it.
So
for sure.
And I like that because it ties everything together. And just like he was saying, conceptually, they are like one of the best brands. You know, like. They have the stories. They have fictional authors, you know, and they have these certain things that tie along with the scent. And once you learn about this, it really kind of ties in and kind of adds something to the fragrance. You know, it's just something really cool that like you know really no other company is kind of taking it that direction. Another company that I really love conceptually is it's going to kill me on the name, so I'm just going to say Eldo. You guys know what that stands for. Apparently, I can't pronounce it, but it's another house I really like. Yes, there you go. Say it like that. My favorite.
Can you guys not?
Yeah. I don't think I've ever let anybody know, but like their new one, Oh Unknown, that came out I think back in October. It's okay. I don't really like love it. To me, it smells like grape bubblegum a little bit. That's what I kind of got from it. Stale grape bubblegum. But As far as a
Keep it
favorite,
simple.
yeah. As far as from like their house, Every Storm and Serenade is my favorite. I'm gonna be getting a bottle of that. And like, I really like Memoirs of a Trespasser, like really strong, great woody vanilla. They just have a lot of really good scents in there, I think. So definitely a hot for me. I think everybody should check it out if you're looking to get kind of like step into indie scents, sort of. They're really great.
Fair play. All right. And I think I know what the answer is, but please enlighten us. Imagine Scent.
For imaginary authors, man, I do like some of their scent. I think they're really, like you said, they're very creative. They have a theme to them that I really, really love, and that's something that is missing in a lot of niche fragrance brands. Is that they're not
Agreed.
all that creative in terms of stories. And I think these houses are very, very nicely, like, well appreciated by everyone. And the fact that they're priced appropriately as well, they're under $100. You really can't get better than that. So definite hot. Although I don't like half their scent, I only like a few of them. I still think it's a great concept. And yeah super hot. Yep.
You know what's interesting? It's like Josh could literally wake up, create some off the wall fragrance, and just like come up with a concept to fit it like that. Like that is so cool. Like the way his brand is set up, like he doesn't really have to like some people would think of the name first and then try to like think of the theme first and then try to like fit the marketing around that concept. But he doesn't have to go about it with that approach. Like he could literally make the fragrance and then fill it in afterward, which is really, really, really nice. Like I can imagine creatively that's a relief, Because like he can just creatively say, I just created like a really interesting Oriental. Now I can just come up with like the desert sands or like, you know what I mean? Like it's just really, really cool that like he doesn't, his creativity won't get stumped because of the way his brand is positioned. It's really cool.
Yeah, because like you can create, story out of, anything, you would think.
There you go.
Exactly, yeah. No, and I appreciate that too, which is why I'm also
pussy.
Called
Hey. Yeah, he made a comeback. He's happy to see me. We had to leave him alone for a couple days.
So
that's a big cat, bro.
Yeah. Oh, censor. Okay, gotta blur out. Demonetized. Shoot. Hold on, guys. I'm sorry.
You're gonna tear me down, dude.
Okay. Sure.
I'm going down with you as far as like the demonetization, bro. It's over for both of us.
I'm cursed.
Oh my god,
no, I'm cursed.
That was so funny. Oh
no. Too Fresh? What's Two Cat's actual name?
All right, so he has a brother, but his name is Chalk, and his brother's Cheese. So I think if George was on, he would get this statement. There's different as chalk and cheese. I guess that's something that they say over in the UK. I saw it on a show a long time ago, and I thought our cats are like they're complete opposites, even though they're brothers.
Wow.
So we call them Chalk and Cheese.
I always thought you would be a dog kind of guy, Brad.
Yeah,
that's interesting.
Yeah, definitely.
That's really interesting.
There's an X amount of us who are fragrance heads who are cat lovers, I guess. There's Amitsu,
I
yourself,
love cats, yeah.
Myself,
sure.
Brad, Jeremy Fragrance, ripped to his cat who just died. Shout out to Jeremy.
20 years. That's
20
good.
years.
Wow. See, you guys are up on it. Like,
did you guys see that? He cried in his last video, for like the first 5 minutes about his cat. And I was like, oh man, I was so sad for him. Yeah. Real talk.
I could completely relate to that, bro. Like when I had my cat for like 15, 18 years. Well, like he's been around for much longer than that. But when I was born, that cat was around. And when it died, it really felt like I lost a family member. Like it was depression. I was depressed. I was literally depressed. It was hard.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have a cat now, because I didn't get over my last one. It was just too much, bro.
Yeah.
I was like, I want to reserve that emotion for human beings. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. But it's like the fact that like you can still feel that way about someone or something that isn't human is like, I mean, cats, like they are family member.
Yeah.
Oh, he wants to come back up here too. Like being in the spotlight. He's like annoying me.
Yeah, like I think zoologists should just do a cat fragrance.
Of course.
Cat fragrance.
Really?
Yeah, just cat. Like whatever. Do a domesticated series. Cat.
No, well, he already. Well, yeah, no, because I was about to say that reference is just too strange. He already did beaver, and then he's coming out with camel. You can already imagine like the next word. And then if he came out with Cat, it would be like, come on, dude, it's just too much.
Yeah, fair play, fair play. All right, but I'll cap this one off with imaginary authors. I mentioned I was gonna say hot mainly because of those concepts and how cool it is to see them executed and whatnot. And like the creativity is kind of endless for Josh Meyer over there, and I do appreciate that. Also priced super appropriately.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Very much so.
And that is something I think we're all sticklers with here. So we do appreciate that. And because of that, he is getting 3, 0, and 1 hots. So what I meant by that is like because like he hasn't had enough experience with that. So that's what is going on. Next up, though, we have a hot or not for another U.S. perfume brand, which you might not have thought was actually American, but is Le Labo. Started by French people, just like Bond, but in America. So Le Labo, American house. E, how do you feel about them? Hot or not?
They're very hot. Yeah. They're burning up, bro, in my opinion. Like they are literally flame. I feel like this house is like one of the leaders of modern perfumery. Like I could say the leading brand for modern fragrances. If you want a modern style fragrance done with a certain taste, with a certain quality, Le Labo is definitely your hipster option, you know? Like it's off the hook. Love that fragrance. Love that brand, I should say. Love every fragrance they've made. There are a few fragrances in their house that I wouldn't purchase for myself because some of them are leaning a little bit too feminine. But personally, I think that brand is very, very talented with their creativity. And I love the style, the look of the whole brand. The brand is on point. Like the look of the stores, the bottles, the way they create their bottles in front of you, the way they create the fragrance for you in front of you. It's just like very, very interesting. And I really like the house a lot. I have actually Vanille 44 and Another 13. They use a lot of synthetic notes also, a lot of synthetic notes, but they never smell like artificial in a way. It's kind of hard to explain. It's like they use a lot of synthetics, but they use them in a way that create a natural impression. If that makes any sense. Like
Another 13, like it just smells like dust, but doesn't hurt your nose.
No, it's a musk heavy fragrance, but it's like a clean musk with a dirty edge. It's very odd, but it's like they also use a lot of ISOE super in their fragrances. So
oh God, yeah.
I'm a huge fan of Le Labo. Yeah, they're on point.
They're hot. Okay, we got one huge hot from E. I know you love Another 13 amongst other ones.
Yeah,
Thé Noir.
Sexy stuff.
I know you love.
Oh, Thé Noir.
Yeah.
Santal 33.
Yeah, got that right here. Love it. But Brad, how do you feel about Le Labo? I don't think you talked about them much.
There's a reason why.
No.
There's a reason why I stay away from them. Like I said, this house is so cold. I'm going to put my jacket back on. Like they're Arctic right now. So, or at least for me personally. So E, take everything that you just said and the opposite. That's how I feel about them, pretty much.
Which
is cool that we have, that different opinions about them.
Why would you say that? I have to hear this now.
I can't stand them. There's something about everything. I literally don't like anything about them. Like I just had a really bad experience just the first time I even tried to go smell them for some reason. I hated almost every single one. I'm not sure if there was something messed up with the bottles or what was up, but I think again, sort of like imaginary authors, how they all have some sort of note that runs through them all. There's also a note that runs through all the Labos that I found that I just hate. I think it's that sort of musk or whatever that they use. Can't stand it. And overpriced. Let's get that out of the way. Bottles are hideous. I hate the bottles. They look like laboratory experiments gone wrong. Like they're
I've never heard
an eyesore. Okay, so that's two things right there.
He said, "Okay,
let's see."
Okay, stream monsters. I want to apologize to everyone for that thuggery on from Too Fresh right here because apparently he's too fresh for Le Labo. So
I'm about to keep going too.
Oh my God, I was gonna put him in.
I'm not done yet.
Let's go.
Okay. Also, there's for me anyway, a better alternative that is less expensive for almost every fragrance that they own. I mean, not, you know, they have like different notes, like Santal 33, very popular. I'll take Santal Carmen from Atelier Cologne over that. You know, the one that you think of, like Bergamot 22, I'll take Bergamot Soleil. There's many other Bergamot fragrances that I enjoy more. You can name almost any note, and I have something that I personally like better versus that one, you know? So that's just how I feel about them.
And well, hold on. And they're all Ateliers.
Those two versus... Come on, I mean, there's more, obviously, but yeah, you know how I feel about them.
That's fascinating. They're all Atelier. I just noticed that. That's a very good point.
Yeah,
it's like subconscious. I don't know why.
Okay, can Atelier Cologne just sign TRIPLEINC already? Just do it. Like,
seriously, you need to talk to Evan, bro.
Oh yeah, right.
You and Evan would be like best friends.
We got a guy on the inside this time. Yeah.
Evan needs to sign you to like a contra deal with like. With Atelier, and then like you're just gonna go on these passionate Atelier Cologne rants like you passionately just destroyed Le Labo, which I do not appreciate.
Sorry to all Le Labo fans, it's just one reviewer's opinion. I know there's also a lot of them out there, but not for me.
You know what? When you have that first experience being negative, it definitely sets.
It was bad. And, like the sales assistants were just really just not kind to me for some reason. Not really sure. I'm not going into that, but I don't know.
So maybe you had a hipster Le Labo person, like the
probably. Who knows?
I get that.
And I'm like, come on, I know what I'm talking about with this stuff. It's like, don't mess with me right now, you know.
Wow.
Well, you know, a couple of those. Actually, there's the Le Labo in New York. Well, one of the stores I believe in New York. The sales associate was attentive, but they were very like, you know. A little something. The ones in Bloomies, in Saks Fifth Avenue, amazingly cool though. Like I guess it depends on your luck. Like the luck of the draw really sets it up.
I'm not gonna front. Like I'm actually fairly good friends with a Le Labo like brand manager at my nearest Nordstrom. So, like that's something. That being said, I mean, like you can have a negative experience, whether it's customer service and or maybe the first fragrance you smell, and then maybe the bar is set a lot like higher or lower, or you just might feel less indifferent or whatnot. And I totally get that too.
Yeah, Loewe, or how do you pronounce that? Loewe, Loewe.
Yeah, you got it. Yeah.
Louvre. Oh no, that's
Louvre.
Sorry. No. Yeah. That's my French coming back from high school. Forgot about that.
Yeah, I think it's Loewe. I'm pretty sure.
All right,
something like that.
That Loewe, whatever. That brand, like they have a fragrance called it's like a really fresh scent. It's like all natural. I forgot the name of it off the top, but anyway, I had a really, really bad experience with that. It was just like horrible, and it ruined Versace Man Eau Fraiche for me. So ever since I smelled that fragrance, I cannot smell anything Versace Eau Fraiche-ish, and I will just get disgusted. But ever since that fragrance, I can't buy another Loewe fragrance without smelling it. So it's like I can't smell it. The same experience that Brad had, I can definitely relate to. Like anytime I smell a Loewe fragrance, it's like that note that I hated in that Natural 7, I think, or Natural something. Natural 17 or something like that was the name of this Loewe scent. And man, when I smoke that joint, like every time I smell a Loewe scent, I smell it. And it's like I smell that same horrible, disgusting, crappy note. And it's just like it ruins it. So yeah, I get you, Brad. Like sometimes, you just can't shake that.
And then you
funk.
pick that and pick that out every time. I get that.
Yeah, it's like your brain. The brain is fascinating. It's amazing.
For real. No, I get that totally. That being said, Tim, can you redeem Brad, please?
I'll tell you a story about
okay, that's how you feel.
We talked about the topic of essays earlier. There are some essays who I think we can't really blame them for what they say sometimes because they were trained to say that. It's not like they have a choice. Because there's some brands. Me and Peter from Fragrancery, we went to Barney's and we know how tough Peter is. They were telling him like this certain brand. I'm not gonna name the brand, of course. This certain brand, very high priced brand. Like they use all natural ingredients, all this and that. And Peter smelled them and was like, "These aren't natural," you know. And Peter they're not natural.
But so did you. To be fair.
That that's what they do. Like used all natural, is really high quality. And Pete looked at me and was like, "These aren't natural."
No. And you want to know something funny? Like, I wonder if like all the haters will hate that brand too. But well, I digress.
And then Manny, you know what brand I'm talking about since you watched the vlog. He's basically ripped the brand a new one. Like I asked him about the we talked about pricing for the brand, and he was trying to guess, and he was like, I'd be surprised if this is more than $120 per bottle.
Oh,
The brand ended up being like $300 and $400 per bottle. He was like, "Are you kidding me?"
Yeah.
Wow.
And we're talking about. I'll just say it. I believe it. I believe.
I don't know how to pronounce it. Is it Feng Dang?
Yeah, I believe it was
Feng
Feng
Dang,
Dang that
yeah.
he was talking about. Yeah. So that's
Yeah.
interesting.
He just
Feng Dang.
he just ripped a brand a new one right in middle of Barney's. So it was funny.
Man.
Yeah. So if you guys are unfamiliar with the brand, they actually have a lot of money clearly being able to distribute like that because they're fairly new. They have Bertrand Duchaufour as one of their perfumers.
Not one of them. He did all of them.
Yeah, all of them. Yeah, sorry. So there's that. So you would think off the bat, okay, this has to be good, and it's like priced at like 400 plus for like a for what
They
you're
smell.
buying.
They smell like designers. Short and simple. They smell like designers, almost high end designers, but they are extremely expensive. We're talking 50 mil. There's two prices. There's some of them 50 mil or 300, and there's like 2 or 3 of them that 50 mil is 450, which is ridiculous.
Wow.
So like Pete just destroyed it, but that's a story for another day. In terms of Le Labo, I don't like a lot of them. I don't think they're my taste really. I only like Thé Noir. Thé Noir is like my favorite one from the brand. That being said, like I think the prices are rather high. Like I don't know. I love Thé Noir, but I don't think I would pay retail for Thé Noir. And there's the popular one, Santal 33, smells like a niche version of CH Man Sport to me. When I smell CH Man Sport, I'm like, this smells almost exactly identical to Santal 33.
Wait a minute,
like,
CH Men's Sport?
Yeah, CH Man Sport. Yeah, if you have tried CH Man Sport, it smells Santal 33. I think like
What?
Santal 33 is like a
Wow, bro. Like you're bugging.
I think you're bugging.
it gives the same vibe in the air. Like seriously.
Let me tell you,
Timmy's nose broken.
I smelled that fragrance and I got rid of it. I bought it and sold it like literally the same day. Put it on eBay that same day. Like I thought it was such a fall off from CH Men. Like it was hard, like all the CH Men flankers I found.
Did I say the right flanker? Let me see.
Yeah,
there's
bro.
so many flankers. I might have said the wrong one. But like it smells like one of the CH Men flankers. Yeah, like one of those ones.
Wow.
I'm pretty sure it was Sport, but yeah. But I don't know. Like I think the brand's overpriced to me, but like they're just not my taste. I like the brand concept. I like the lab bottles. I think they look cool. I like how they put their name. If you buy it retail, they put your name on the bottle too, right? Like on the label. So I think that's pretty cool.
Let me flex.
Yep. Yeah, that's like 500 Canadian right there. That's like that's expensive. 500 Canadian for that kind of bottle. It's just too expensive. I cannot justify that.
You know what?
No matter how much this thing is, 500 is a lot.
No, but you know what? Certain fragrances are just not like certain fragrances are just meant for certain people. They know this. Like
like I'm
it's
not
just the bottom
line.
line.
Like I'm not knocking on their scent at all. Like it's just not my taste. I'm knocking on the price.
So for the sake of time,
I got you.
For the sake of time, I'm just trying to recall. Did you say hot or not?
I'm probably gonna go with not, since I only really like one of them, and I still wouldn't pay retail for that. So I'm probably gonna say it not.
Okay, and of course you can only get them for retail, which I think is awesome because their distribution is so tight. And I think to basically furthermore promote the prestige of your brand, I think you have to be like what Le Labo does. And I mentioned that my friend is a Le Labo like brand manager, and she even told me that they don't even partner up with like celebrities. They don't send anyone anything. Basically, and like. I'm kind of on the record saying this, but apparently someone who claimed to be in Drake's like crew in Toronto went into the new Le Labo store here and said like, "Hey, can I pick up this, and this? I'm with Drake," and like had a card and everything. And then they said no. Yeah, and basically they're a
I
brand
would
that
say no too.
exactly. So
Like,
you
what
know,
is he gonna do? Hold the bottle up in a picture? Like, how does that benefit them?
yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like, how are you supposed someone supposed to flex? You know, like that. And like, I think that's a really silly argument too, because like, you know, Drake already has Tom Ford ties or whatnot. You know,
Tuscan leather.
exactly, and has somehow has his own lipstick. That being said,
Bro,
that's
I'm
real
so not
facts.
surprised. I'm so not surprised. Like, we're talking
The
about
lipstick.
Drake here.
Every time you put on the lipstick, it feels like you're kissing Drake.
That's disgusting.
Yeah.
If a girl
that being
ever
said-
wore that lipstick, I would be so pissed off. Like, seriously.
Girl bye. Yeah. But that being said, like, you know, Le Labo is just like, they know themselves. They feel like, you know, they don't cut corners, essentially, is the kind of brand they are. I respect that. But as far as the scents themselves, okay, this is ridiculous. $290 for a 50 ml because it's an exclusive for the month of September, when the actual scents only go for 180. So you're talking about $110 difference as far as evaluation, and this doesn't smell that much more than this, for example. Like, the exclusives, as good as they are, like, I don't feel like they're using that better much quality and stuff. You're paying for the exclusivity. They're all amazing.
Right.
Don't get me wrong. It's just,
But that shouldn't that be the case though? Like,
No,
shouldn't you
I
pay
get-
for it? Yeah.
I get that, but for example, I'll compare this. So I got by Killian's single malt. You're paying €235 for this. Yeah, versus this is Sacred Woods, $215. Like, I don't think the difference should be $110 is what I'm saying. I just think it's a little much. So I get why they're trying to flex on people like that. That being said, the scents are way too good that I can't denigrate the brand. You know, so I think that Le Labo, like E said, is a cornerstone in modern day perfumery, without a doubt. Like, they use a lot of synthetics, yes, but I think the way they manipulate accords is second to none.
But that is
Bradley
modern
like,
perfume.
I don't
But
know.
that is modern perfumery. Modern
Exactly.
perfumery is taking synthetics and creating a natural concept with it. You know, like, modern perfumery is like when they made a fragrance that smells like a magazine page. Like, that is modern. That's what modern perfumery is. I know that sounds weird. You know, I know it's like a magazine page doesn't sound sexy at all, but it smells very, very sexy. It's a very seductive fragrance, and a lot of the fragrances they do like have that appeal. Like, it's very, very, like, I think they're like they're like way ahead of a lot of brands when it comes to that. And like Gucci, when they did Gucci Guilty Absolute, like the scent they were trying to make a fragrance in that Le Labo style. Like, they were trying to create a modern style fragrance with a lot of synthetics, and it came across smelling really interesting. So yeah, I think they're inspiring other brands now. Le Labo's definitely on point, and they're getting better. Like, they'll definitely add more things out that's gonna, like, you know, blow people away. You know.
I totally agree, and I
the
think
brand is the brand itself is the vehicle. Like, the fragrances are not always on point, but the brand is so hot that future fragrances are just gonna bang. You know, they're just gonna
like
kill
it's
it.
going to be hard for them not to bang them out, especially
Right.
with, I mentioned the new store in Toronto. We're for sure gaining a new city exclusive in the next year and a half.
Wow. Yeah.
Of course, right?
That's
like,
so
because
cool.
everyone else has one. Like, New York has one, Moscow has one, London, Paris, Tokyo, and Dallas, LA, San Francisco, everyone. So I think it's gonna be super hyped that when they do, I better be in line for that and or covering it. So I really can't wait. So we're two for two. We're split on Le Labo,
Yeah.
which is really interesting because we had 0 for 4 for Bond. We had a 4-0 for House of Matriarch, 3-0-1 for Imaginary Authors, split for Le Labo. And I'm sure we're going to be split on the last house we're talking about. Tom Ford, hot or not? I'm going to start with a Mitsu. I know how you feel about this brand, and now I agree.
I gotta say, I've changed.
What?
I've changed. Yeah.
Change this way.
Switching up.
I've changed. I completely buy into the hype. I completely get why Tom Ford is so dope to people. I really do. Like, I get it. I get it. After purchasing Plum Japonais, after
Oh yeah,
purchasing Bois de Verre, after purchasing and just like really, really like delving into the line all over again, smelling them with a different mindset. I'm blown away. Like there are times when I'm like, wow, I would buy probably every fragrance in this damn table, like right here. Like I would purchase every one of them. Like even the feminine ones smell good. Like I probably wouldn't wear them outside, but you know, I love their like, yeah. And there's like a Tom Ford DNA that like who does dark fragrances better?
that's true.
Parfums de Marley. I'm just
I
joking.
don't dark fragrances. I don't know. Like
That's-
there's like a dark rootiness in every one
Yeah.
of his scents that just like that it's hard to like mimic. Even like people who try to like when Club de Nuit Intense woman tries to do Noir de Noir, it's so much flatter. You know, it's it's not as deep. It's like the depth is nowhere near Noir de Noir's level. So it's like yeah, Tom Ford, even though, you know, he's not a perfumer. I mean, there's like some weird, like, I don't know, like they probably have like a factory or some weird thing going on where they're just pumping them out, but like it doesn't really matter. Like they don't really need the most famous perfumer. Like it's like that's another brand. Yeah, that's another company that has the brand part down.
I agree.
Like down. Amazing stuff.
We got one hot, guys.
Yeah. Buy into it, yeah.
Hey.
He's buying the hype. The hot is on lock, but
Yeah.
we're going to too fresh.
Okay.
Even their designers smell niche. Like think about
That's
that.
true, and they arguably smell more niche. Sahara Noir when it was around.
Yeah.
Man Extreme. What's it called as well? Black Orchid.
Yeah, Black Orchid.
That's way more niche than Mandarin.
White Patchouli. Yeah. Yeah. White Patchouli is probably better than all their blue bottles, in my opinion.
White Patchouli is better than the Patchouli scent. Like absolutely.
Yeah, that's
For sure. Yeah.
I'm sorry, Brad. Go ahead.
Okay. Sorry, my cat's just like attacking my feet. And he wants to come back up. Oh well. Okay. We're talking about Tom Ford, right? Yeah.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, I gotta respect him. Like I can't just ignore the really good body of work that they have. Overall marketing, I mean, they're pretty good brand when you take a look at marketing, how successful they've been in terms of, you know, their fragrances sold, the overall quality. It's been really good. I own 2 right now, and I'm pretty content with those 2. Like a fresher one with Mandarino di Amalfi Aqua, and then Oud Wood as one of the more darker ones. For me, I don't think I can necessarily pull them off as well. Plus, their prices seem to go up and up every single time that I look at them. But for me, they're a mild. I wouldn't say they're really sizzling hot, but they're not cold, and they're more than lukewarm. So they're kind of mild to warm, if you know what I mean. For me.
Okay, I'm gonna say that's a not, because not doesn't necessarily mean it's bad. It just means it's not hot for you.
Yeah, like this is so hard. Yeah, I mean, just for me personally, like I said, I respect them. I respect, you know, they all smell really good. But for me personally, in terms of what I can afford and can I pull them off, just not really the house for me. There are a couple that I do enjoy that I already just mentioned that I like wearing. But outside of that, there's not a whole lot of stuff that I can really have and wear at the same time.
I think the ones that you do like, you already have, you know, a Creed for or an Atelier for.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
yeah,
I would have like a substitute or something that could be up there with it. Yeah.
And Tobacco Oud Intense is off the hook, guys.
It's way better than the original.
It's so good, bro.
It's like the muskiness in there is, ooh, it's nice.
I think we've had that. Someone brought that up as well. Asked us what we prefer, Tobacco Oud or Tobacco Oud Intense.
Intense.
And I know for a fact that people like Ashton's a huge fan of the original as well as James. But yeah, no, Tom Ford. I think the Oud offshoots, the flankers. I know some of them get a bad rap, but like in retrospect, like I don't think they're bad whatsoever. You know, I actually don't hate Tobacco Oud as much now, but I need to spend more time with Intense. Yeah. But Tim, how do you feel about Tom Ford?
I'm with E. Like, if I had money to spare, I would pick up quite a few scents from their house. Like Plum Japonais, definitely. Cafe Rose, I like that one as well. Noir. Like I pick up so many. Like I think Shanghai Lily. Like I don't know. It's discontinued now, but I would love that one as well. Champaka Absolute. I could name so many.
Champaka Absolute, bro.
Yeah, I would
oh my
name.
god.
I could name so many that I would pick up. Like they're a
talk
great
about
house
that.
for me. They're just really a great house. I actually would pick up Oud Mineral as well. I actually kind of like that salty vibe. I don't know. I like the brand a lot. I'm just gonna give it a hot. It's as simple as that. I wouldn't pick up any of their fresh ones though, because it just doesn't last. So.
Yeah.
You spray it on, and might as well just spray your water on yourself. It doesn't last all that long for the price at all. But yeah, I love a lot of their scent, and yeah, I'm just gonna leave it as that.
Okay, so we got one lukewarm that I'm going to consider for the sake of records and not from Brad. We got two hot, and then there's me. So here's the thing. I've flip-flop on this a lot. I used to be like, oh, Tom Ford's a shit. I love all of these. Then I went through this stage like a few months ago where like I still love this stuff, but I just couldn't, get behind how rapidly the price points have gone up twice in the last 12 months. That being said, if we're going to judge them based on the brands and its prime, like it's so hard to argue against, the Oud Woods, the Tuscan Leathers, the Noir de Noirs.
Yeah, I like La Yucawam too.
See, I see what you did there.
Yeah.
But like stuff I even like that's more like, like a little bit more like low key in comparison to everything else. Like I'm a big fan of Italian Cypress, for example. Like the stuff that they have done that are amazing are like super amazing. Like Plum Japonais, you guys already mentioned. I know Tim is a huge proponent of Venetian Bergamot, which I think is exquisite. And
love Venetian Bergamot.
Stuff like that. And I'm like, wow, this brand literally does every note at a higher level.
Yeah. I think they have too many fragrances sometimes that you can't. It's like they have so many good fragrances. Yeah, they've been reformulating the performances in the same, but they have so many great fragrances that it just blows the mind. It's just like, wow. It's like it's sometimes kind of is a little overwhelming also.
Yeah. No, exactly. And for the sake of that, the fact that someone's going to find a Tom Ford that they likely because of the sheer volume they have. Based on that, I have to say hot. So there we go. Tom Ford. That concludes our hot or not segment. What do you guys think out of the brands that we mentioned are hot or not? Please let us know in the comments. We mentioned brands like Bond Number 9, House of Matriarch, Imaginary Authors, Le Labo, and Tom Ford. I know there's another few U.S. brands that we didn't mention, like Carolina Herrera or Slumber
Ralph
House.
Lauren.
Slumber House, yeah.
Ralph Lauren, yeah. But for the sake of time, those are the ones we chose. We might get into this in the near future.
Yeah.
That being said, we do have some questions I'd like to get through. If you guys have any questions, again, let us know in the comments. We'd really appreciate it. And I have a few from earlier that I think would be awesome if we answered. So the first question that we have today is from our good friend, TM Scents. So that's Tyler. Tyler, you're not on stream with us today, but thank you for tuning in. Obviously, Tyler is one of the proponent, like he's one of the most prominent meme lords within the fragrance community, and for that, I respect that. Shout outs to Filthy Frank. That being said, his question is, boys, I'm looking to test out some Tom Ford private blend fragrances tomorrow. What are some other ones aside from the obvious that I should check out? So how about this? We'll all name one for the sake of time and not really delve into anything else that has already been mentioned. I'm sure we're all going to find one that we really want to talk about for Tyler. So the one I'm going to mention to him that he should check out that he might not have, just for the sake of hype, is I can't censor myself. And this thing's already demonetized. Do it. Effing Fabulous. There you go. So yeah, go check.
I know that fragrance, Manny.
What is it again? Is that a flank or is that a clone? What is that?
Brad, stop trying to get me demonetized like you. Good one. All right.
The new flanker to fucking Fabulous called Big.
Oh my god.
Boom.
Yeah.
Kill you, Vegas.
I think I said pussy earlier, so I think that ruined it.
Great.
Yeah, it's too late, dude. We already had cat nudity on here. It's
the cat, yeah.
Too late.
Okay, I'm so done. I'm so done. Okay, but yeah, check that out because I think the results are fairly polarizing. I'd love to hear what you have to say. E, what should Tyler check out? One Tom Ford Private Blend fragrance.
Oh man.
If you had to pick one.
Well, if I had to pick one that would be really, really easy for a young man to pull off, right, like himself, I would just say Plum Jab Bonnet.
Cool.
Yeah.
Nice. We got Too Fresh.
Yeah. Is it still available in store, Costa Azura, or is that discontinued?
That's discontinued in December, so yes.
Ooh.
Wow.
Dude, I would say check it out while you still can, to be honest, or just
I
snag
think
a
it's still
bottle.
going to be in Nordstrom until they run out of stock there.
That too.
Yeah, that's probably my favorite from their Neroli Portofino collection. It's like one of the very few summer fragrances that is actually can be dressed up, and yeah.
All right, and Tim, I know your answer is. I didn't take it on purpose. I didn't. Just say it. There it is. Venetian.
Now you made me more curious about that. I gotta check that out more now.
It's underrated.
It's literally the most underrated Tom Ford Private Blend fragrances.
What about, wait a minute, so you think over Champaka? Because I don't hear anyone talking about Champaka, absolutely.
Champaka is also underrated, yeah, for sure.
I heard no
I
one talking
never hear
about.
people talk
I think
about that.
Champaka is more talked about maybe in beauty communities than actual fragrance communities, yeah.
Really?
It sells a lot.
Yeah, it sells well, and that's why it's still around. So, for example, the ones that they are discontinuing, Rive d'Ombre, Costa Azura, and Shanghai Lily, are, from what I know, the bottom sellers currently, and there is a chance that 2 out of the 4 Vert series are going to be discontinued soon too.
Yeah, Vert de Bois, I'm sure, is probably getting the axe.
I know,
way too weird.
I think it's Vert de Fleur that is for sure going.
Wow.
From what I know. But Vert de Bois actually, I think is the best selling one out of all of them.
Get out.
Yeah,
That's Oud Wood Intense. Whatever they did there messed it up.
So there's that.
Oud Wood Intense.
Yeah, I don't like Oud Wood Intense one bit.
Wow. So there's one.
It's
funny because Tobacco Oud and Tobacco Oud Intense and Oud Wood Intense have all like had this like polarizing factor. A lot of people are either really for them or really not.
Oh, I have insider news from one of the essay that Oud Wood Intense and Tobacco Oud Intense are actually going to be limited edition. The reason they didn't announce it being limited edition is because the fucking fabulous trend was still going. They didn't want to,
also it
interfere with that.
Anything
with
with
Oud Wood Intense and Tobacco Oud Intense are both limited edition.
Anything with a silver or gold plate, if you guys don't know this already, is a limited edition.
Neroli Portofino Forte is still around. I mean,
it's still around, but it's not going to be produced again. So that's another thing. So, for example, you have those two. You have Neroli Portofino Forte. You have Bois Marocain that came back for a short time earlier last year.
I like how Manny pronounced everything. Marocain.
Marocain.
That's what happens when you take French in school.
Marocain.
Marocain. Boys Marocain. There you go.
Boys Marocain.
Anyway, more questions, guys. I have another one from Alex Chu. Shout out to Alex. He's a good friend of mine here in the GTA. That being said, his question is best Bond number 9 fragrance. So we'll all pick one and why. That being said, I'm kind of stumped because it's Bond number 9. If I had to pick one, and it's hard to pick one that isn't the clone, but probably New Harlem. Like, I think it's the most you can do with Legend by Michael Jordan DNA. But again, $260 for that style scent is a little much. I got a really good deal on it about 2-3 years ago, and that's why I have it and still have it. But
I really like that scent. But yeah. Michael Jordan Legend, I mean.
Yeah. I see what you did there. But E, your favorite Bond or best one for yourself?
Definitely the Andy Warhol. Yeah. That's just like, I think that's the jewel of the house. I don't think they've done a fragrance better than that. There's a couple of other that are interesting. The amber fragrance is pretty good. Wall Street is interesting. But yeah, that's the one I would say.
Okay. All right. And we got Too Fresh.
Yeah. Let me think. For me, it's probably going to be, it's a cop-out answer, but Bleecker Street.
Oh, okay.
Pretty much the same thing. Yeah. Nah, I'm joking. I'm joking. Yeah. So just, I mean, yeah, that bottle's just an eyesore to me, man. Like, I feel like I'm on some kind of acid trip when I'm looking at that thing on the labels. So just for that, I wouldn't even have it up there.
Exposed.
But I mean, the scent is pretty nice, but yeah, I thought it was discontinued. Yeah.
The crazy part is
Pokemon bottles.
yeah, like the Pokemon like bottle or on some like crazy like like kaleidoscope tip. That's the franchise scent for them. They named that scent after the store, and like it looks so funky. I thought that they'd go for like a more mature look, but I guess not. For the franchise scent, but I mean it's lovely too. Lovely clone for sure. I'm not saying that to denigrate them. It just is.
You gotta say allegedly a clone, Manny. We talked about this.
Wait a minute. There's somebody who absolutely loves Bond. Who's the I forgot who it was in the community, but there's someone who's like that's
Chip
their
did
favorite
a top 10
house.
Bond fragrance.
Oh, who loves Bond? I know.
Yeah,
I know
their
Evan's
favorite
a big fan.
house. Yeah, I think Evan is. That's
Evan's
yeah.
a cute
Evan
fan.
is. That's his favorite fragrance house, and it always blows my mind. And people call him a fragrance snob. Like when I did a video with him today, and I put it out today. People were calling him a snob, and I'm like, are you kidding me? This is a dude who loves Spice Bomb. Is his favorite fragrance. There is no snobbery in that, And when you put Bond, and when Bond is your favorite fragrance house, like, come on, there's no snob there.
Yeah, nah. we love you, Evan. Please come back.
It makes you wonder. Well, damn, if you don't like that, how come you love Bond? But yeah,
man, I imagine like to like some ardent community members online, like if Evan's a snob for like that, then like what are we?
Oh my goodness.
Oh my god. Yeah. I mean,
like,
wait till people hear me just completely bash Chanel. Like it's gonna be like, oh, what's going on, bro?
And I know we've had that conversation tons of times about how you feel about Chanel and how fraudulent they are in that regard, allegedly.
Two fragrances in 8 years, bro. 2 fragrances for men in 8 years, and those 2 fragrances are pretty much the same scent. Like, come on, like Bleu de Chanel done twice. You made an ADP, which was better than the EDT. Then you basically neutered both of them, and you haven't done. And then they
neutered all the unisex stuff as well with the Les Exclusives. So
and then the last
EDP,
that's horrible. And in the last 7 years, they've done 10 fragrances for women, and only 1 scent for men.
I mean,
that don't make any sense.
While that's true, like that's a pro, feminist brand when you think about it. So I get it. Like,
Bleu de Chanel is one of the best-selling men's fragrances of all time. Like, why would you why would you not think, well, if that men's fragrance did so well, and the men's market is like really, really pushing a lot of these brands nowadays, because men want to smell better now than we did before. The sales are going through the roof. Sauvage sales, I would say, really beat at the height of Acqua di Gio. I guarantee you, Sauvage is knocking those sales out today.
Wow. Right now, the best-selling fragrance in America, I believe, is Bleu de Chanel EDP, from what I know.
But
Sauvage is 2 though.
And the fact that they they haven't put out a fragrance for men in 7 years that isn't isn't a rip off of another fragrance. It just makes you just wonder what the heck is going on over there.
Okay, so like we were able to wind up Brad about Labo. I swear, on Chanel, he has hours of material.
I can't with them.
He has hours of material. And like when he says he can't, can't even is what we're saying.
Nah, I mean, yeah, they're just they trigger me. That brand triggers me, because they could be so much more. They're living on their past. They're living off what they've done before, not what they're doing, which is kind of pathetic in my opinion.
CDs, EDTs,
people don't hold them accountable.
Living in the past.
That's
people
true.
People don't hold them accountable at all. People just let them slide.
Who's gonna go with Chanel? Let's be real. I mean,
I don't talk about them anymore because I can't. Because people
they're like Teflon.
get a hold of this.
Yeah, that's true.
Like I wish I could talk about this stuff.
I wish I could reach into the screen and grab one of those bottles out your hand right now.
Oh, man, I got a couple more if you know what I'm saying. That being said, Tim, I don't think you got to your Bond yet. If you had to pick your best Bond, what is it?
Huh?
They haven't made one yet. No.
They really haven't made one yet. I wouldn't recommend anything.
Damn.
They haven't made one. I am like absolutely.
How many
love.
hundreds do they have? My goodness.
Wow.
Wow,
even
that's
one.
that's. I was just joking,
Sad.
Tim. Like, damn.
It's true.
I know Tim's not joking. That's the crazy part. So
Wow.
there's that. Oh, and I have my man Mr. Siage in the comments.
Yeah.
Love
What's
Mr.
good,
Siage.
Mr. Siage?
Great guy. He's like Manny's
Very much
Byredo
so.
snob. Timmy is a fucking man snob. Bradley's
Yeah.
a Italian snob. E is a Tiff Benson snob. Oh my
Hey.
Oh,
Going on.
Really?
Dang.
Really?
Yo, shout outs to Mr. Siage. And hey, Robes08, he's chiming in on Chanel lost the men's game a long time ago to Dior, in my opinion. While that's
Yes.
true, as far as the active online fragrance community, I really don't feel like that's the case as far as overall, because they're doing just fine with those two Bleu de Chanels, unfortunately.
Absolutely, I disagree with you, bro. Like Prada,
No,
I
as
think
far as the
Prada-
sales is concerned, because
Well,
that's
yeah,
what they're
that-
about.
Sales.
Yeah,
But as far as Prada, I think has leapfrogged them. Like I think it's Dior, Prada, and Chanel is probably like after Valentino. in my opinion.
No. And
after
while
Valentino.
okay,
Yep, I know.
While
Valentino is killing it right now.
While
Chanel
I agree
is-
with you, and while I do see it that way as well, I'm just talking about how they see it.
that's
and, like,
true. But it's
for
like,
them,
what have
it's
you
over.
done for me lately? And Chanel hasn't done a thing. you
Exactly.
know?
Yeah. So like they haven't done anything for us in a minute,
Right. For the ladies,
and for the
yeah,
ladies,
yeah.
like let's be real, Gabrielle ain't that good either. Like they're
10
screwed up overall.
fragrances. Well, no, Gabrielle isn't that. But I mean, 10 fragrances for ladies over the last 7 years. And a few of them have been completely new releases. Gabrielle, for instance, completely new release, not associated with any other line that they've ever made. Here they come out with a men's fragrance. I guarantee you it's going to be probably like Bleu de Chanel Intense or some stupid thing like that. Like, I mean, they have no creativity for men in that house ever since, like, I would say Platinum, No, excuse that. Since Chanel Allure, I feel like their creativity has gone down crazily.
Since they came out with them flankers for that, they got addicted to it, and that's it.
Yeah.
It's a wrap. Yeah,
That's right. So rip to Chanel, at least as far as the men's is concerned. We do have some more questions, and this is just like a general knowledge question. I'm just going to bang out, and I know Tim knows the answer to this too. But So Nice 69, shout outs to my homie in the GTA. Manny or anyone else from your experience does How to Matriarch do orders for customers who are seeking older blends like Albatross and others? And the answer is yes. Like it's
if you
literally
got that
on the
money,
website. And if you have that money.
$1 will make
Cha-ching,
anyone
cha-ching.
holler.
So there's that.
Dang, I like that.
Yeah, if only it costs $1.
Okay, so another question. I think this one's interesting from Alex Chu, because like it's not a yes or no question. You kind of pick one or the other. Is Apple Brandy better than Sacred Wood? By Killian question. And I know that, and E, I'm not sure if you know this, but the reason why Brad and Tim have Apple Brandy now is because actually, and you're kind of involved in this too, because I did a story on this because you tagged me in that Halloween in that what's it called? In the Fragrance Horror Story. So I did it for Halloween, and I talked about how Apple Brandy, I sprayed it on myself, and I got eaten alive by mosquitoes. It was like the Wicker Man, but for mosquitoes, is what happened to me. So I sold both my bottles to Tim and Brad, and that's why I have it now. But now I ask, especially Tim, because he has both fragrances, what is better, Apple Brandy or Sacred Wood? I'm going to say, despite me getting rid of it, I think Apple Brandy is a better scent.
Apple Brandy to me is better overall in terms of like usability, I guess. And in terms of scent, I think it's actually a better scent as well. It's more complex.
Yeah.
Sacred Wood's very simple, but it's simple done really well. So they're very close, but I do prefer Apple Brandy over Sacred Wood.
Yeah, the job that they accomplished, one being, a very friendly yet simple, mundane sandalwood, and then the other being, a very, like nuanced, boozy scent. Yeah. They're both 10 out of 10s as far as what they get the job done for. But as far as the amount of thought that was put into apple brandy, I think that trumps Sacred Wood personally for me as well. How do you guys feel, Brad?
I would agree.
Okay.
Yeah. I like apple brandy better.
Yeah. For me, Black Killian, they're probably for me the best house at making boozy fragrances, like at least my taste. So I think that they should stick at what they do best, and this one just knocks it out of the park for me all day long.
Yeah, because you can't really find alternative to apple brandy if you're looking for that brandy type of vibe. You're not going to get anywhere near that. There's quality sandalwoods you can find elsewhere.
Well, just wait.
Yeah, just
our mouth will get around to it, right?
I know Dua already has. already has clones of single malt and apple brandy.
That being said, if anyone is inquiring about apple brandy, I highly recommend, if you are in the EU or if you're in UK, go try this out. Single malt, it's a London UK exclusive. I find it hard to believe if you like apple brandy that you won't like this as well.
Single malt's really, really good too. Really good.
It's definitely my favorite by Killian, above and beyond for sure. Above and
you don't
beyond.
find them like, okay, so you know how like you guys are talking about houses that are like overpriced, like when you think about by Killian, like I mean you're paying like for the casket really.
Yeah, no, exactly. And you have to know that coming in is that there's so many smoke and mirrors that you're paying into. That being said, the asking price is still less than what I'm getting a bond for, and the quality is like it's about as much as I would pay for that scent, is what I'm saying. It's not a great evaluation, but then it's one that I can easily rationalize, include in comparison to the creeds, the bonds out there for sure. Yeah, it's around for example, like it has a better evaluation like in North America, I believe, than like Le Labo, for example. So
wow.
So I do appreciate that as well. Yeah, so
that's shocking.
Yeah, because I'm just going to double check this right now. So if I'm going to compare their mainline scents, so if I'm going to compare like by Killian Sacred Wood to Santal 33, for example.
Oh, my bad.
Sacred Wood goes for $275. I mean, it depends on how you want to look at it, dollar per ml value wise. Because Santal 33 is like a $180 US. This one is anywhere between $215 to $275 typically. So when you think about that, if you take away the coffin, it's probably going to be around $230-ish typically is what you're paying for. I hate the fact that you have to buy it like that, but if you want to look at it this way, you can also buy just the travel size atomizers from By Killian without the fancy presentation, and then that's how much you should be actually paying when you think about it. So I think that's kind of a good way to look at it, because I'm looking at it right now. For without the fancy presentation, you're only paying $175 US. That's way better than any Tom Ford at 50 ml.
That's interesting.
The thing is, though, like
the thing is, by Killian, to me, by Killian's brand is just not. By Killian's brand, I think has to be like and developed more. I feel like they have a harder time. For instance, Le Labo, I feel like even though Le Labo is a very exclusive company, like their fragrances are very exclusive, like their brand is a lot more stronger. Like they have an identity. Like what is the By Killian identity? It's hard to really say what it is unless you've been to one of their few stores. It's like it's hard to. I think black and white maybe like the whole like checkered floor probably might be part of their identity. I don't know. What is the By Killian identity?
Well, of course, they're from LVMH or the division from it because, of course, he's the heir of Hennessy, right? So their thing is boozy fragrances. So let's do all these modern day Gothic aesthetic, especially with like the Memento Mori, Black Phantom, for example, stuff like that. That's the kind of they're trying to come off as dark and mysterious. Which is their shtick if they had one, versus Le Labo, who has like that hipster vibe associated with them. But they do this to a T better than anyone else does their gimmick. Period.
Right. Like By Killian does give me that like rock and roll vibe, whereas like Le Labo gives me that nerd type of the money making programmer.
No, I can get that. I can get with that too. Yeah, it's just like, I think it's harder to convey in North America because you go into the Barney's, you go into Saks, you'll see a Le Labo desk all the time.
Right.
versus just a small section for By Killian, and they don't really have, you know,
An
they might not
aesthetic.
even have a dedicated sales associate. For example, they don't have a proper counter and stuff like that. I think that's something that they should definitely work on.
Yeah, for sure, bro.
Yeah,
You need a vehicle. You need a vehicle. Like, that's important. I mean, it helps people. It helps you stand out. It helps people retain your stuff. Like, you stand out more. That's I think why Le Labo is so successful.
Yeah, and I agree with that totally. Which is why Le Labo is in how many continents worldwide?
Right.
You know what I'm saying? So
you
that's a thing. And continents
That's a
worldwide.
brand strength.
Yeah, strength with actual standalone stores worldwide. You think about it, they're in Moscow, Tokyo, again, all these other exotic places that you wouldn't think that an unconventional US brand could thrive there.
They're not in Thailand. They're not cool enough.
Watch, they're gonna have a Bangkok scent, and eventually they're gonna have a Bangkok scent, and it's gonna be a clone of Tuka Tatao.
Dang.
Oh no! Imagine, and no offense, Tim, but imagine like Le Labo did like a Thai feature, and it was like Lady Boy 32 or something.
Oh my god.
Lady Boy or the Parfum.
Damn.
I didn't want to say it.
I'll buy you a bottle, E.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Oh no!
And you have to review it on your channel.
I would do it. I would go for it, bro.
Wow. Yeah.
Hey, bro,
Lady Boy 69. That'll be the name.
Yeah, there we go. So is that how many ingredients there are? 69 ingredients?
69 ingredients.
You know?
Actually, guys, I just want to address something quickly. My good homie Terry Cunningham, Killian has a sales associate at Holt Renfrew, Manny. Smarten up. And that's a thing. That's not on me, though, because you take a look around and you see like Chanel with a fancy like setup, for example. They clearly have an actual counter there and stuff like that. Like By Killian's, like, you know, if they have an armoire or something like that, it just doesn't look as notable, I think is what E and myself are trying to say.
The brand identity is hard to identify.
That's interesting.
That's it. And that's it.
Like where I'm at in Virginia, so I've been to both like a Saks here in Virginia and also up in Ohio, and like they were completely decked out with By Killian. I actually interviewed one of the sales reps at the Virginia store. I think his name was Mark, about like the new Black Phantom right before it came out. And like, you know, super knowledgeable. So I've had really good experiences. You know, they had these beautiful presentations with the snakes and like all this crazy stuff.
Oh,
but
yeah,
I don't know if it's different.
Out like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it's not as elaborate as like Le Labo or Guerlain's or Dior's or something like that, is what we're saying.
Yeah, like if you go into a Le Labo store, it's like you're going into their brand. Like you're literally walking into the identity they're trying to create for their look, their smell. It all ties together. The packaging, it looks like a lab. Like it literally looks like some old school lab, like not
Chemistry
some decked
lab.
out. Yeah, not.
Yeah, they gotta take it to a next level now and start disinfecting people before they walk in.
Ooh.
It's all about the experience.
Don't give them ideas.
No. You gotta
Watch.
put on a lab coat.
You gotta put on a lab coat.
Oh my God.
like Le Labo is the type of brand to have like flu shots set up at like in the corner.
Wow.
Yeah, that's the kind of vibe they're trying to channel. Modern industrial, like Leo Sinai said in the comments. That's a good comment.
Yeah, that's a really good way of describing it for sure.
Just stop at the door. You're wearing other people's fragrances. You can't go into our store. You need to disinfect you.
Another fragrance reviewer
Alcohol.
Another fragrance reviewer asks, how much is that Ladyboy 69 though? If it does come out, it would be $290 around that.
I guarantee if Le Labo did something like that, it would ruin them. But if like Tom Ford did something like that, like he would be praised for it.
Yeah. Damn, it's crazy.
It would be the greatest marketing thing ever, Tom Ford.
Oh man, Tommy Ford holding it down.
Pitchingly brilliant. I told you it has to come out.
Good Lord. All right, so we got a few more comments here, and questions that I'd like to go through. So we have the Broad Walk. Shout out to the Broad Walk, or as I like to call it, the Bay Walk. What's up? Anyway, do you get a lot of civet from Camel, Manny, or anyone here who might have smelled it?
I get civet, yeah, for sure.
I definitely get it, but It's
It
not
doesn't. The civet doesn't project off your skin though. It stays on your skin.
Yeah.
So you don't have to worry about any other people around you getting civet besides yourself.
Yeah, the more top note
The
nuances.
more floral amber component shines more in camel than anything else.
Yeah, I get more of the resins for sure, and some of the fruits. So that's what I get for the most part. Tim agrees, but I mean, it's your skin chemistry. Who knows? Of course, you know that, but that's the thing. I think you definitely get it if you smelt like this.
Yeah.
I was
You have a
thinking
skin
like,
chemistry that projects civet. I'm sorry.
no, I was thinking like it would be crazy if civet has camel smelling like a camel toe. Like that was kinda weird.
No! Oh, demonetized. No, I'm so done.
Yo, there's no dude. It's still monetized.
No, it's yellow.
insane.
It's a red logo now.
Yeah,
Now
this is like gonna break
YouTube money.
YouTube system.
They're taking your money.
I forgot. Oh,
Siphoning
man.
it.
I figured we
Right
were
from
past
AdSense.
that. I figured we were past that. I'm sorry.
I obviously don't care about the demonetization for the stream. It's all good. I'm just joking. But that's funny. That's so sick. Oh man. And you know it's funny because like you would think about that. I get it. And I talked about Victor Wong about this myself. And I know I brought this up with Tim. It's just like there's these things that are so low key that you don't really think about, but then maybe you think about it. So for example, when Macaque came out, when I did my video on it, I said macaque instead macaque.
Yeah.
Macaque. I remember that. I'm like, man, that's a weird name for a
That was
fragrance.
crazy.
Nice.
Macaque, beaver.
Like,
Oh
man,
my
yeah,
gosh,
camel.
macaque, beaver, and camel toe. Oh no.
Thank you. That's what I was trying to say earlier, bro. You didn't get the innuendo. Like that's what I was. Remember when I mentioned it? I was like, like that's when I was like, you can't. They couldn't come out with a fragrance called Kitty because it would sound too much like, you know.
Yeah, okay. They have too many innuendos already.
They've done too
no.
many. Like yeah.
That's awesome. Good lord. Anyway, we got more questions, guys. Thank you for tuning in.
Sorry, Victor.
Sorry, Victor.
You're still a friend of the channel. Thank you. That being said,
Love your stuff, man.
there you go. Y'all heard it first. Great stuff. Just the names are questionable. That's it. Or oh well.
Well, he has a fixation on certain animals. Let's just put it like that.
Like that.
We'll just say.
Yeah, like, and I'm not going to delve into it furthermore. Pause. Anyway, I got a question here. Casey Rudd TV. Shout out to Casey. He's a good friend of the channel as well. The markets are still selling a lot of designer scents, but do you think there will be a point where everyday consumers are going to shift over to the niche market as a first choice? And the answer is they already have. Like, literally, if you go into Sephora, Saks, like, if you look up what's selling online, and you look at, like, the top 12 or 20, and you see how many Joe Malones are up there, how many Tom Ford private blends are up there, it's almost half the list, you know, as far as what's actually, like, flying. And that's a thing. It's starting to happen. It's not going to be on the niche level, period, because let's be real. There's everyday consumers who already have a hard time just buying, you know, a mainstream designer cologne, because for some people that's already a lot of money.
80, yeah, let alone 200 something. So that's like, I kind of am like, it sounds greedy of me, but like I kind of want to have the niche to be like, you know, for the hardcore, not for necessarily every day. I know that sounds kind of bad.
And that's kind of like what the fashion industry is to a certain extent too.
Right.
With like their made to wear
and ready to wear. Yeah.
Ready to wear. Exactly. So it's like how they differentiate niche from designer. Like look at Tom Ford. Like if you're gonna get a ready to wear like couple like sport coats or something like that, it's not gonna be as much as like if it was made to wear, and that's what's exclusive or niche. So we're never gonna get to that point. Maybe not in North America. This might be standard in like Seoul or Paris.
No,
or
I don't think fragrances. I don't think niche fragrances will ever get on the same level as designers as far as like popularity and sales. Yeah, exactly. Never.
It's just price is the biggest thing. Probably,
like Creed would be the only brand that comes close to doing something like that.
Creed and Tom Ford.
Yeah, okay, I get you, but I would say Creed because Creed I think is a lot more wearable, likable than Tom Ford.
Fresh.
Tom Ford's fragrances take a experienced nose to really appreciate on a certain level. They're not as likable to the average person as, let's say, Creed, because you know, freshies are a lot easier to like than the darker type of thing that Tom does. But I don't think niche fragrances will ever be on that designer level, simply for the fact that, like, brands. It's all about brands. Like brands again are the vehicle, and Creed is the only niche brand that can compete with, let's say, a Dior in terms of like the name, and even then, not that much.
Yeah,
you know?
it's funny you said that because like when I look at the brands, I think Tom Ford is quite a vehicle too because their best-selling fragrances are Oud Wood and Tobacco Vanille. So those are very, you know, they're not quote unquote beginner scents. But I actually have a friend who I used to work with, and her signature scent was Tobacco Vanille. And she had no idea what niche perfumery was. And when you think of
Velvet Teddy came out by MAC, and that smells just like Tobacco Vanille too.
Yeah, no, and I get that. But what I'm trying to say is that basically sometimes just the brand itself is so larger in life that you don't even have to differentiate between what's niche or design.
Right.
Yeah,
Gotcha.
and that's what she was. She was like, oh, you have a fragrance channel. I wear this. She didn't even say it right. She said Tobacco Vanille.
Wow.
So she clearly wasn't a fragrance scent. She just liked how it smelled to a certain extent. But I'm pretty sure it was more so she was drawn to Tom Ford. And that, I think, is imperative when we have to consider if we're going to ever see that.
But hold on, real quick. Would you consider it's all right, Tom Ford does a private blend. But when you think about it, his brand he's a designer.
Yeah, technically.
Yeah, no, he's designer. Yeah, like I feel that way too. I'm just saying as far as how the active fragrance community considers niche or designer.
No, but you know, like a niche, to me, a niche fragrance is a much niche fragrances like Amouage, for instance. That's really neat. Like scents like niche. That will never because that's a brand that like it doesn't have a designer name attached to it, like Tom Ford, for instance.
Those are true niche. Exactly, I agree.
Right. So like would that outsell
new
Chanel fragrance by men?
They don't have the distribution. They don't have the advertising. They don't have the scent to do it. You're right. Like it's not going to happen.
Right. I think I don't think there'll ever be a time when niche fragrances will ever get that popular. Maybe go ahead.
And if someone has the brand to do it as a vehicle, it's like you mentioned, Creed, Tom Ford, and if we're gonna reach into Tom Ford, that's already, like you mentioned, like technically a designer. So
because he's a designer brand.
He's a designer. He's a director. He does everything. He's a virtuoso.
Pretty much. Renaissance man.
God.
Anyway, we have a couple other ones that we have to talk about. I think this is a really good question. James Cooper, of all the houses discussed in the Hot or Not today, who had the best release of 2017? I'm going to start with E. Out of all those U.S. houses.
Out of all those U.S. houses, who had the best release of 2017?
Would you say it's Tobacco Oud Intense?
That's an amazing scent. Yeah, that's pretty daggone good. Like, it's hard to say, but I would say, like, off the top, that's hard. If you gave me like a list, I could probably do it a little easier. But like, if off the top,
Or would you say it's
wow.
Yeah, Tuka Tao is really good.
That's a daggone good scent, bro.
Am I saying that wrong? Tuka Tao?
Tuka Katao?
There's someone who...
Takao.
Someone came up with a really interesting way to say it last week or 2 weeks ago. He said he just called it T cubed.
Oh, T cubed or triple T or whatever. Yeah, I like that.
T3. Yeah, T cubed.
Yeah. T3. I like that.
T3. There.
Tuka is, nobody will, like, what other fragrance has Tuka in it? So, that's definitely memorable. But, is it Takao or Katao?
Tatao.
T. Okay, Tatao. Okay. Yeah, that is off the hook, bro. Okay. Off the hook.
All right. Brad, you got a best release out of anything that we mentioned?
Yeah, it's pretty close. So... Tuka Tao, definitely, boom, right up there. That was awesome.
Smove, I like how you did that.
Yeah. From Imaginary Authors, St. Julep is pretty high up there, too. I love that. It just doesn't last, unfortunately, but the smell is, like, just mouth-watering. It's so good. Yeah, it's pretty much, I did like, let's see, Tobacco Oud Intense was pretty nice, but I wouldn't put it up with that realm because, I can't really pull it off, per se. Oud Mineral was actually pretty nice, too. That surprised me. But yeah, it's really close between those two. But I'm going to have to go with House of Matriarch T3 on that one. I think it's just a little bit, has that more complexity and it lasts much longer, which is great.
We're hyping it up. It's gonna sell out again.
Oh my gosh, yeah.
Not that needs the hype now, but
that's amazing stuff.
I have this little tiny thing it's almost empty, so. Sad.
Okay.
Yeah, and, I was kind of like wishing I got one, but I was like, I was hoarding Carlos's. I sprayed it on the sleeve, not on my skin, just so I wanted to last. Like I wanted to keep smelling it over the days, you know.
And like it's lovely. Like I blind pre-ordered it for the sake of supporting the turtles and Timmy, and like I was going to get it regardless, just because I was going to support the big homie. And
yeah, you know what? Would she ever come out with a fragrance like effing Thai? Like effing Thai?
Nice.
Like,
man.
That would sell out. Yeah.
Oh yeah. 100%.
Yeah, I was going to say
strong note of basil.
Wow. There too?
Basil.
Strong note of basil.
That's a nose type.
Basil basil.
Okay, so Tim, your top fragrance of 2017 from the aforementioned brands, barring your own.
Barring my own? Oh man.
Oh man.
Skip. I'm kidding. Oh man. The brands, oh god. Let's see. Let me look.
I know you're gonna say matriarch.
I gotta go back into the archive.
Archives.
Okay, so while Tim's doing that, I'll answer. Easy question. I'm gonna say this too.
Yeah.
For me, like you said, like I was blown away too. Good
I want that bottle so bad.
Like,
I want to reach through the screen and grab it.
People are gonna swear we're just hyping it up because we're cool with Tim and we're all like colleagues and we're like conspiring together to like sell out bottles for Tim. No, dudes.
Like I
really
the next drama.
Just
we
so
didn't
everyone know, transparent. I don't earn any dollar, any money from sales of this fragrance. So there's awesome. No reason at all for any for
well,
these
not
guys
so awesome. How come, bro?
Huh? No, it's just a fun collaboration. I don't earn.
It's a passion project.
Yeah, it's a passion.
Wow. Passion project.
So
there you go.
just for all the trolls out there who be like, oh my god, earning money off of this. No, I don't.
And that is pretty awesome, bro. Like for you to even like first of all, that says a lot about your passion because there are very few people who would like have anything to do with like a creative process and a fragrance and then not receive any like residuals. Like that says a lot about you, bro. That really shows you are passionate about this for real. You know, not on some like, you're not in it for the Patreon money, bro. Like that's
you gotta give it to the turtles. The 5% of proceed goes to all the turtles. So
that's why I said that exactly.
Yeah.
Got turtles. Ooh, yeah. I saved the turtles.
So if you don't buy them a bottle, guys, you hate turtles.
Oh, every time you go on the site, you don't buy it, a turtle dies.
A
turtle dies, yeah. If you don't buy it.
Unbelievable.
Every time you cross it over.
Every time you add it to cart and then you don't end up buying it, the turtle dies.
Okay.
Yeah, I would give you like if our House of Matriarch, you would have like this lifetime like discount code that you can only use like forever. Like that's how awesome that scent is. Like wow.
Yeah.
Lovely.
The no breakdown is insane on that.
In terms of what I would pick, I would go to imaginary author St. Julep.
Oh, surprising. Okay.
Yeah, St. Julep. Yep.
Fair play.
Do you get good performance off it, or does it just not last on you either?
It gets like average performance, not beast off me, but it's average.
If I even got average, I would have a bottle of that like ASAP. But I don't get anything off it, and it sucks.
This is the imaginary author's fragrance.
Yeah, and most of them last pretty strong too. It was just the surprising part. That one just like the opening, and then like 2 or 3 hours gone. I was like, wow.
See, I didn't get an email from the PR people over at Imaginary Author, so I wasn't in the cool club. I didn't get a sample. Yeah, I didn't
get a sample of St. Julep. I don't think they sent samples for St. Julep. They sent the Oh Unknown, right? And I gotta be honest, like I think I might just email Josh and say like, can I not review it because I would destroy it because I don't like it at all.
Yeah, I'm not too fond of it. unfortunately.
All right, so we got. I'm gonna go with 3 more questions, guys. So we got some really cool questions here. Actually, no, since we do have that, let's go with 4 or 5 because I really like these questions. But let's get through these quickly. So firstly, I want to answer this one from another fragrance reviewer. Shout outs to him. Got a question. Do you guys ever go to Sephora or a standard mall fragrance store and pretend to be a non-frag head to the sales associate? So
Yes.
I want to throw this to E real fast. Do you do that? And if you do it, why do you do it?
No, I don't tell them I'm a, like, what do you mean? Like, do I let them know I'm a fragrance reviewer?
Like, do you act snooty in front of them and stuff and like pretend you know stuff, or like as you actually know it, or do you pretend to be like meek and naive although you are actually
well, no, I actually do. I do play it off. Like, I do like to see what their knowledge is.
Exactly,
I do like to see what they're like. I want to see your sales pitch. I want to see how you like get off these scents. But yeah, I mean, I do it all the time. I'm always fronting to the sales associates all the time.
And let's be real, that's okay because they're fronting to you too. So
yeah, for sure. And they always have like this. They always like have this like really, really basic information that it's like, but they say it in such a confident way that it makes them think like they're more profound than they are. Like, yeah, if you spray it on your skin, you know, you'll notice that there's a different nuance than when you spray it on the. I'm like, really? I didn't know that. Like, thank you. Yeah. Or like when they tell me like a fragrance that I know is only going to last for 3 hours, lasts for like all day. Like, bullshit. You know, come on, guys. Yeah.
No, respect. That's fun. Brad, do you do this?
Yeah.
And if you do, why?
I love this question. This is cool stuff to talk about. So yeah, I actually do it both ways. It really just depends on the situation. Like I try and pick out which one I'm going to single out, like a target, right? And then I just sort of like read them, and maybe I watch them with a different customer and say, okay, do I want to be like normal, or do I want to be like I don't know anything about fragrances, and just to sort of see. And it is kind of cool to be on the other side of that whole interaction and then sort of test their knowledge, and you're kind of secretly know, okay, they're kind of BSing me, or maybe they're not, and all that kind of stuff. And like I saw golf clubs as part of my job, and I have to be like a salesman, I guess. And it's kind of cool to be on the other side of that, because then like I know when people come and know more than me, it's kind of an interest, like a weird feeling. So like to do that, and it's just kind of weird, that whole dynamic. And I feel like I really have found out that like personal experience, and if you don't always agree with the customer, if you say, okay, that may work, but for me, I like this and this, having that personal experience really helps out, because the customer's going to trust you and going to believe what you say more. So whenever a sales associate does that, selling me fragrances, that is a big thumbs up.
All right, cool. And Tim?
Oh man, I'm a prankster. So I like not only do I do that, I just there's other thing I love to do is when I'm in Thailand, I would pretend I can't speak Thai because my English is good. I would go in there speaking pure English, and I would just prank a lot of my friends, prank a lot of sales associates, prank a lot of people. It's just fun. Like I've always pretend I'm dumb when I'm walking to a fragrance store until they say something dumb, and I'll say like, "Oh, I know my shit."
Catch them slipping.
Yeah, catch them slipping, and be like, "Oh, it's actually," just to see their reaction, really. And a lot of them just look like okay, a lot of them just back off, really.
Oh yeah. Like, as soon as you start talking about this crazy stuff, they'll be like,
"This customer is beyond my league." So they just but it's always like fun in games. I don't do it to make anyone feel bad. It's just fun for me. I always do it. There's not a time where I walk into a store and I say I'm a fragrance reviewer. None. until later.
Yeah, like maybe at the end, like I'll do that. That being said, for the most part, I like playing it off, like have a conversation, as if like they're actually doing their job to the average, wearer per se. And I think that's a lot more fun for me like that, because I work in sales myself. So I'm always trying to learn, like, if they have a pitch that is worthwhile for me. So it's not really like ulterior motives for the sake of frags, but for the sake of just in general. Like, I just want to see what makes you tick. But that's just me. That being said, sometimes I'll play it off as like I know what I'm looking for, and I might trying to elicit samples easier per se. That being said, I'm friends with enough essays by now that I really don't do that, and I usually just play it off.
That's
So
hilarious. So you're just basically saying, so you kiss, you kiss ass so you can get some extra samples from the essays too. Is that what you just said in a cool way?
Yeah. No, for real. But like, it's not really like I'm not like verbatim like going in there to like just like fluff them up or whatnot. It just I find like it's easier. Like it's easier to get stuff like when you're having a conversation rather than you're clearly just going in there to ask for stuff. And some people will literally walk into, Saks and be like, "Can I get samples of this?" and then leave. And I'm like, "No, like that's not how life works."
Wow.
Finesse it out of them,
Yeah.
So it's funny. I never even knew they give samples in Saks. That's fascinating. Oh, actually,
it depends on the brand.
Do yeah.
Penhaligon's,
yeah.
Penhaligon's would, Creed would, Tom Ford would. Who wouldn't, for example, would be like Dior, because like the splash bottles they give out are
like $30. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, one.
Those are expensive, like right? Those little things that come in the minis.
Yeah, they're like, I believe if they were to sell them, like
$40.
Yeah, 20, 25-ish, around there. It depends for what. If it's the Attar we're talking about, the like those are like hundreds, of course, because they even have a line of those. That being said, move on to next question. Okay, I already answered this in a video that I recently did. Rafael Valarezo, shout out to Raf. Thank you for tuning in again.
Raf, what's going on, Raf?
So far in 2017, which is the number one pick for you guys? I'm going to go to my good friend E. What is number one for you?
Wow.
Overall, if you had to pick.
Oh man, that's gonna change on my list though. But so far off the top, I would say Prada L'Homme Intense is my favorite release. Yeah.
All right,
so
Brad.
far.
Yeah, I was gonna go ahead and steal Tim's. I think this is probably what Tim's gonna do. It's gonna be which sucks is I can't wear it until next year. But John Bravado's Artisan Pure. Definitely.
I love that. That's
talking about designer, right?
Yeah, I love that scent right there, bro.
Yeah.
Rah, got it right here.
Did I take it?
I love that.
Is yours that too, Tim?
Huh?
That your number one this year too?
For this year's release, for designer.
No, just in general. Like
just in general. Oh,
barring your fragrance, like what is?
Best release in general for me personally, my personal taste, like regardless of price, is Viking. But if price is considered, not Viking. If price is considered, I would say I like Pure Excess a lot.
Okay, fair play.
That was good too.
Pure
but really, Viking, bro?
That's why I was saying.
I wear it all the time. Like my bottle's already like 20% gone.
Like,
Timmy.
wait a minute, you don't get that Tiger Bomb like icy hot thing going on?
No, I wasn't born in time.
Wait a minute.
He doesn't have that association because
I don't have that association. I wasn't born in time for that association.
Oh, okay. So I gotta send you some icy hot or some.
Oh no, you might
icy hot backpack.
I'd ruin it.
E, you're gonna ruin.
I already bought it.
You have icy hot?
Nope.
Bro, you're gonna be like, geez, like if I just rub this on my skin as a base, I could put Viking on top of it and it would work. Like literally.
That would be that'd be compliments galore potentially for Tim, because I already know he gets good feedback with it.
Number one spot, most compliment. Thanks to Imitsu, it is this thing, Icy Hot.
I think I'm gonna go CVS.
Yeah, the Shaquille O'Neal Icy Hot backpack.
Oh no!
Icy
like
hot.
wow, that shocks me that you get love from that. That really blows my mind.
This Icy Hot replaced Viking for me. Thanks, E.
I was like, like honestly, dude, bro. Like, I mean, like every time, you know what it is? Every time, like I have a runny nose, I just run and grab some Tiger Balm or Icy Hot, and it's like when I smelled Viking, I was like, bro, wow, like it smells like rub. It smells like it made me think of my grandmother and her muumuu, you know, with her stockings up to her knees, and you know, like it just reminded me of muumuu granny, you know, like it was just really interesting. Like, but yeah, interesting scent.
Yeah. Oh man, that's interesting as well.
It just smells like it reminds me of my grandmother's nightstand. Like when you open the drawer and that smell. That's what Viking smells like to me.
No, and I can see the association. It's just that was very vivid.
Oh, sorry about that. You
know. No, that makes sense. That's good. No, I love, and that's what I love about fragrances. When I watch a reviewer or YouTuber and they're talking about fragrance, I mean, for the most part, if it's something I'm already familiar with, like I know how it develops off me. So sometimes what you might say about how it might develop off you is kind of besides the fact. But when you tell me about what you relate it to, and like I find those stories a lot more interesting typically.
Yeah,
and I love that. That makes a lot of sense because
that's
I'm
what
not
Creed could have advertised instead of like a Viking on an ice thing. It'd be like on a grandma's nightstand.
So much cooler though.
Grandma's nightstand.
Grandma's like using icy hot in the video commercial.
I mean, they kind of went that way with, I guess, the
director Imitsu.
You are the new campaign manager for Creed.
The new campaign manager for Creed.
Have fun.
There are a few Creed fragrances that I went to the boutique recently on Madison Avenue when I met up with Chad and everybody. And honestly, I was just like floored by this one fragrance in a green bottle called Millesime. I think it was 1830 something or
1849.
It's
that's right.
2013, believe it or not.
Huh?
1849 was actually released in 2013.
It was made to commemorate.
No, I was just gonna say, like, to me, the fact that fragrance wasn't hyped up when it came out and Viking is kind of weird,
because it's an exclusive. It's an exclusive to the Creed boutique, and it's an exclusive to Harrods initially.
What's the price tag on that?
They're vaulting it now. So like the sales at Creed say after they sell out, they sell out. This is currently vaulted.
There's only is 2 an bottles amazing left. Fragrance.
Yeah, there's only 2 bottles left in the Las Vegas boutique. I don't know how many's left in the New York boutique, but only 2 are left in the Las Vegas boutique.
It is I
don't know why nobody talks about that either. Like there's some Creed fragrances that
because
are
I think it's
so
different from I think it's different from the rest of the Creed line. It's not as fresh. It's more heavy.
I mean, the distribution is also a thing too. Like, let's be real. People talk about the Creed fragrances that they can get for discount, not the ones that, not like Acier Aluminium and Zest Mandarin Pamplemousse. Like, it's not gonna be a thing because the distribution for those fragrances are so tight. And let's be real, when you smell Creed, and this is insane. Now, I'm gonna mention this in a future video. I mentioned it earlier before E got here. Creed is actually like kind of inexpensive when you go to France. For a 50 ml of Creed Viking, it's 155 euros.
Wow.
For Creed Viking in North America, it's US dollar, it's 350. So
you wonder where like all these discounter get their fragrances from. They get them from the EU.
They get them from the EU. They get them from like what's it called? Duty frees.
Yep.
In the Middle East, that kind of stuff. For example, and this is crazy, but maybe the camera will pick this up. Of course, I'm doing a giveaway for Creed Aventus, on my channel. But if you look closely here, and I don't think it will show it, but right there, that like piece of tape actually has Arabic writing right there. This is from a duty free in like UAE.
It ended up in Costco.
And ended up in Costco.
That's
all
amazing.
Those Costco overstock scents that they're selling for $60 each in Canada or the US, they're just duty free overstock.
Well, I'm about to look at that up. Costco. Let me see.
But like, what's the point in a duty free selling their old inventory? I don't understand that. Why don't they just keep it and sell it when it sells? That's fascinating. Yeah. And man, if I worked at one of those stores, I would just case them, pack them in my house. Like, imagine boxes of cases of Aventus.
They are doing this. So, for example, I was on business in an area that isn't as woke as like bigger metropolitan areas. So I was able to cop this, at the Costco there, and the work staff, they had no idea about the scent. I literally went there with my boss. We picked up 4 bottles for $60 each.
Unbelievable.
Oh,
But in
4
Toronto,
ounce.
that would never happen because there's always going to be that one frag head who works at Costco there, and he's going to be like buying these things before they even hit the shelves. And that's what's been happening in the Torontos, the Vancouvers, the Edmontons, the Calgarys, places like that. But when I was in Halifax, I got 4 of these bottles, $60 each, giving one away on the channel, and that's kind of what's going on. Yeah,
Halifax.
Yep,
Wow.
Halifax. Shout out to them. Anyway, my number 1 fragrance for the year, right here, Note de Yuzu by Kiwi.
Hi, peace.
In collaboration with Maison Kitsune. I know, Tim. Stop it.
What did he say, bro?
He called me a hype beast because they collaborated with Maison Kitsune for this. And that's low-key true, Tim, and he knows it. So that's funny. But I love this scent. It's like Cell Marin, but with like more character. Because the Yuzu opening just bodies whatever Cell Marin has, in my personal opinion.
Sounds like it's right up my alley. Like, I love this.
That's the thing. Like when I smelled this fragrance, the first person I thought of was TRIPLEINC, and I'm like, he needs to smell this.
The question is, can it step up to SOEA? I mean, just in terms of everything. Then,
in my opinion, yes. In my opinion, it's not going to have as vivid of a citrus opening that you're typically used to, because that's usually the cornerstone of that type of fragrance. And it is here to a certain extent, but you'll love this for the same reason you love Cell Marin as well. The saltiness and dry down too. It's not just the killer opening. It's
not yuzu, so it's pretty unique citrus note. I only have Issei Miyake, which I don't really like it that much anyway. So that's something that's missing in my collection. Right now.
And I think it's like the most underutilized citrus period that smells so good. Like whatever happened to the 90s of Issei Miyake, like using that to a T, and then all of a sudden we're no longer using it. So bring back yuzu.
Because he used it, he overused it. That's why.
That's so true. That's so true, though. But I'd love to see like Atelier Cologne yuzu fragrance, or Tom Ford yuzu fragrance.
Definitely.
Yeah, for sure. But that's my favorite one. We're gonna go with 2 more questions actually.
We're looking for an Armaf yuzu fragrance.
So, I
like that California Clementine. I know that.
Oh, that's good too. It's like
gorgeous.
That
tangerine.
That is off the chain. I love that fragrance. That fragrance is flames.
That's the only one I'm missing in my collection up here. That's
who else like that fragrance?
Oh,
Peter from Fragrance View actually likes it.
Yeah.
So if he likes it, it has to be good.
There's something about it. It's just so happy and bright.
Now Peter likes it. Hold the phone.
Really?
All right,
Peter don't like
it's a blind buy worthy if Pete likes it.
Yeah, like man, the way he talks, bro. Bro, you're crazy. You make me laugh, man. Tim is crazy.
It's facts. Anyway, we got a question from Scent Bubbles. If you had unlimited funds to buy one fragrance, which one would you choose? So like an expensive fragrance that you don't have yet already. So I'm going to defer to Amitsu again. Like if money wasn't a thing, which fragrance are you buying?
Money ain't a thing. Oh man, I guess I would say House of Matriarch. I would start there.
Hey.
I would start there because I would pretty much like take her whole line.
All right, Matriarch. The more Matriarch boys in the house. I know Tim already has the entire line.
Converted.
Converted.
Too fresh. How do you feel about this?
Yeah, actually, for me, it'd probably be Roja Dove, Roja Parfum.
Wow.
Yeah. Like, it's a house that I know I've sort of badmouthed a little bit, but I really want to dive into it. The bottles are just gorgeous, obviously.
That shocks me.
And
well, it shocks me too.
That really shocks me because,
we did 2 weeks ago, bro. What happened?
Roja's fragrances look like your father would probably wear them, not you.
Exactly. I don't know. It's just something I want to try out. Because there's the first brand that comes to mind when I think of something really expensive luxury that I've always wanted to sort of have something from, but it's the way I weigh it on my price bracket. So, yeah.
No, they do make a few, not even a few really good fragrances that are awesome smells. So
Creation E would be the first one I would pick up. Boom.
But it's such a fancy man type of house.
Yeah.
There's this one fragrance called Britannia that costs $1,500.
Oh my gosh.
Good
Tim, is that what you
Lord.
would go for if you had to pick?
Nope. I don't think I would own a Roja.
Okay, so if money wasn't a thing, what would be for you?
If only I didn't own the whole line of Matriarch already.
It would be
Let's
that.
see what else would I pick.
Wow, you're just showing off
whole
now.
line.
No, I only
Right?
own like
Flexing
15
on us.
mLs.
Yeah,
Yo,
he
he
flexes
flexes
As you
hard.
remember, like I only brought the 15
Look at
mLs.
the
because
sticker.
I owned them
He's
all.
flexing right now.
Yeah, right.
He's
He is.
flexing.
So
And he
good.
calls
But
me out on. He calls me out on my hoodie.
Well, with
He
your
is,
hoodie, you can buy a whole line of fragrance too. So
Yeah, I mean, yeah, and that is, you know, it's like
Touche.
it's like a little heart with eyeballs, dude.
yeah,
Like,
exactly. E.
like that's like the only.
Exactly.
That's like like you could literally draw that on like an American Apparel and
Yeah.
save like $300.
Crazy.
So triggered.
Just
So
get
triggered.
just get like
Name's gonna explode. Be careful.
just get like a tailor to make some like, you know, some patchy hearts and put some googly eyes on them.
Yeah.
Make
So
them
triggered right
move. They can move, bro.
They
Like
can
you get
move.
some
Even better
those
than the
googly
original.
eyes.
Yeah, right?
Exactly.
Updated, upgraded.
So every time you walk around, your eyes will bounce. Like on
Okay,
your
so
sweatshirt.
here are the running gags on Team Top 5. If you don't already know, I wear Comme des Garçons hoodies, or I wear Comme des Garçons. Brad is 12, and Timmy eats on stream. Those are the running gags. If you guys don't
Yeah.
already
Brad
know,
is 12.
12.
and
You didn't hear that one? No.
My food of the
Brad
day
is-
is Ben and Jerry's
brownie batter core.
like a brownie batter core.
Oh,
You
yeah,
know what's
always
funny?
eats.
I was gonna eat a salad, but I didn't want to go in. But yeah.
Feel more than welcome to be fair. It's all good.
You're welcome
It's
to
all
eat
good.
on the stream. You can join me for a meal. But in terms of what I would buy, I think I would go for the. Honestly, I think I might just go for the TCI Terenzi line. They're pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Buy the whole
Zerjov
line.
too.
Because they have so many, and they smell niche. When you smell TCI Terenzi,
Oh, yeah.
they smell uber niche. So they're a lot of them are interesting, but they are very expensive. So I just buy that line.
Well,
He has like the same guy who does that house. He did I think he did a fragrance house called Vicanto.
Vicanto. Yeah, I haven't smelled anything from Vicanto yet, but I want to.
Those are off the like. You got to try Mea Culpa. Really good.
I think they're
It's called
available.
Mea Culpa.
Mea Culpa. Yeah.
That's an awesome name for a fragrance.
I say culpa, but yeah, Mea Culpa is amazing. And I think I saw Jeremy Fragrance did like a comment on Aman's, which is like so funny that he did that because it's like a very, very typical Jeremy Fragrance type of fragrance. Like if you smelled it, you'd be like, oh yeah, okay, I got it. It's floral, but it's very Chanel-y, you know, like very, very easy to like, mint going on. It's very Jeremy Fragrance type of scent, and it smells great though. It smells good though. I was like, not to knock him at all, but it smells absolutely good. And like the entire Vicanto line is really, really interesting, very interesting. From the same guy that creates the Terenzi stuff.
Okay, lovely.
And
Okay,
he's
What's
coming
his
to
name again?
Vegas December 2nd, so I might be able to.
that's Paulo Terenzi.
Oh wow,
Pablo Terenzi.
Paulo Terenzi. Yeah,
he's an eccentric looking dude.
Yeah, he is.
say that.
he's on some other. Yeah,
But his eccentric is cooler than, let's say, Roja's eccentric. Like Roja be looking weird, like
Yeah.
like he looks like he wears slippers with no socks, like with a suit, and it's crazy.
yeah. And I'm not trying to denigrate like that look or anything, but like I see him, and I think of like, you know, like an eccentric like Vegas like granddad look.
Yeah, like you know there you go. He looks like a Vegas magician.
Yeah, either that or like Liberace. Is how I feel.
You see these cheap fragrances? Let me make them expensive right before your eyes.
I'm gonna give you the illusion. I'm gonna make you think I made them. I'm joking.
Oh.
Okay, allegedly.
Whoa.
Allegedly.
Anyway, I'm going to answer this question now. If you had unlimited to buy one fragrance, which would you choose? Oh man, I can't.
Oh no.
Okay, so I have a pretty easy answer for this, and it's like a guilty pleasure because like I know it's not worth that much, but I just love the scent anyway. It would probably be Pure White Cologne by Creed.
Oh, bro,
Oh.
that's some good stuff.
It is good though. It's
Great pick right there, bro.
Thank you.
Great
Appreciate
pick.
it. It's
I
just
feel
like,
like Tiff was nuts on that scent when she smelled it.
oh,
Like
nice.
she went nuts. Like she was like, I gotta have this. But it was like 500 a bottle. She was like, okay, I might not have this.
Dang.
Oh man, it's such a lovely, like, how do I define it? Like ricey, like fruity, like white citrus floral type scent. And I'm like, I smelled it once, had to have it, and I'm like, how much is it? Yeah, I'm pretty sure in Canada it's like almost
$5 and
$600.
change. Yeah.
And I'm like, I can't do it. I can't.
That
Couldn't
whole
justify it.
line.
No way.
Yeah.
And it
again,
only
it's
lasts for like, and it doesn't last that long either.
yeah,
so
like
you're
a 4
paying
hour
like,
scent.
you're paying like 500 and change for
For
a
the
fragrance
opening.
that's right. You're paying 500 and change for a fragrance that's going to last like a movie and probably the ride there and back. You know,
That sucks. The
That's
ride
yeah.
there and back.
Man.
I'm just saying, you know,
I
it's
mean,
not a
he's
long.
not
lasting-
wrong.
It's not a long last, but it smells so good. Like if I was like the richest dude, I would definitely purchase that fragrance in bulk and just say screw it. Like it smells that good, it's worth it.
Get the 75 ml and then get a couple flacons. I agree.
Yep.
But you know
So-
what's
so-
also interesting? If you don't want to spend the money on that, you can always go for like I think Royal what is it? Like it's a not Royal Mayfair. There's another one.
Water.
Royal Water. There you go, bro. That is nice, and it's a really good option if you're not trying to spend the 500 for that cologne. That white
Royal
is
water. It's funny because like I used to
That's
not
the
give it the
cheapest
time of
cream
day,
on discounter too.
People don't
but-
talk about that. It's so good though.
which is crazy because Royal Water is actually pretty big amongst celebrities. Like, so that's another thing it has going for it because I've seen it on beauty vlogs or not vlogs, like beauty blogs or whatnot. And like,
I wonder
know,
why Jeremy doesn't mention it a lot. You know, like maybe because like some women probably might think it smells feminine,
Yeah.
but
Jeremy's really big on masculine scent, I think.
yeah, he is.
but he does wear a lot of like I would say
Fave
he does-
Delicious, like
I think he's more so.
Angelic Noir.
Fave.
Also, okay, yeah. I think it is personally. That's just me.
So there's that. I think Jeremy's more big on promoting scents that are evocative of masculinity, but I don't think he has a problem with actually wearing.
He wears a lot. I mean, when you put Eros as number one on your list, you
Nice.
definitely don't have an issue with sweet, metro fragrances because Eros definitely has it's not the most masculine fragrance on the planet. But you know what? I look at Jeremy's collection and I see some of the female fragrances he owns, and some of them are definitely leaning unisex. I don't even, so I know he sprays them around the house. He better not front, but I know he has this. I know he has to spray like decadence around the house. Like I know he does. I mean, I do sometimes, but yeah.
Hey, fair play. Alrighty.
No shame.
No shame. No shame.
Not at
And,
all. It's awesome.
True.
We got the last question. This is Noel Body. Just got into collecting fragrances. Tips for building your collection.
Cool.
So I'll do one tip. Hopefully we don't repeat each other. I'm just going to quickly get mine out. Tips for building your collection. Don't. All right, E, go for it.
Dude, that's the same exact thing. So
Wow, that's a great answer, bro.
yeah,
That's a great answer.
the only answer.
I honestly feel like after I do my collections video, which I'm planning to do at some point, but after that video, I'm purging at least 125 bottles out of my collection. Like I have to.
Whoa.
It just doesn't make any sense to have that. Like I have 200 and like about 60 bottles now. And honestly, I don't need any of those. Like, I don't need half of them. I don't need half. I do need half, but not the other half.
I do need to have 125 is just like
Yeah, 125. Like, let me have like 30 fragrances for each season.
Yeah.
And I'm good.
That's good. That's good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. No, that makes sense. All right. So we have a don't. And then Brad is also a don't,
Yeah, dude.
or
Yeah.
feel free to elaborate.
Yeah, just don't even think about it, Well, in all seriousness, one thing that I regret with my collection is just buying too many big bottles. You know, go for the smallest size you possibly can if you want to build a big collection, because then you realize you have these giant, 100 ml bottles that would be impossible to go through if you own more than like 50 or 60. So I find just go for the smaller bottles, they're less expensive anyway. That's just a tip that I wish I would have done.
Unless you're like Ashton, who's brilliant, because he gets the biggest sizes and then he basically parcels them. So he can basically so it's like he'll buy like a big bottle and then his customers purchased it for him instead of him. It's like it's like the money goes right back into his pocket. It's brilliant.
True. So
you basically you got a half a bottle. You got a half a bottle. Like you basically got 50 mLs. You sold 50 mLs, and pretty much the bottle paid for itself. Brilliant. That's probably why he has like all the bottles he has. I need to get on his thing, right?
And I would say like sample a lot too, and be very, very critical on what you like. Only get stuff that you really love, because then if you get stuff that you like, you get like me. I don't love a lot of them. Get stuff that you only really, really, really love that is full bottle worthy.
Yeah. Actually, in all seriousness, if I'm going to come up with a tip, to be honest, don't look at my collection, Brad's, Amitsu's, Tim's, Ashton's, any of us, and feel like inadequate or jealous. Mainly because to a certain extent we're fairly experienced noses. I think, despite maybe to a certain extent all of us admitting to only getting stuff maybe that we love, but we do have a lot of stuff that we just don't like as much. Don't be that. Literally. If it's only worth a decant or a smaller size, maybe don't get it at all. Is how I feel. Yeah. In retrospect, if I can do that now,
I'm getting out of that mindset of like I have to buy a bottle to review it. Like as long as I get enough juice, I don't really need the bottle. Like I could do a review with 10 mLs. I could do a review with 5 to 10 mLs. Like I'm good with that. Like if I can wear it for a week, I can review it.
Yeah, if you're gonna get a roller ball, that's also good because that's usually like at least 10 mLs. Like more than don't do samples, but like if you're gonna do, like if you have a decant, like that should be sufficient.
Or just you know what I've done? Like I will get like a lot of samples. Like you can order on eBay. Like literally, some people will sell like a lot. Like it's literally like 14 or like to 20 different like samples in a plastic wrapper or whatever. And like you could just take them, like pull off the caps and just pour them into decants and decant it yourself. And that way, like you can experience the fragrance instead of literally having to purchase like a $100 bottle. Like I've bought too many fragrances that I like instead of focusing on fragrances that I love. Like you said, like you said it right there. So yeah, I agree with you 100%, Brad. Oh, and I think a really good tip also is like don't focus on the cheapies first when you're buying fragrances, because when a lot of times we focus on the cheapies and those are fragrances we end up like using as toilet like fresheners or like what I'm saying, like me, I use that. But like the cheapies, I think is how like we spend our money with cheapies and we could just save that and get something decent. So that's a big problem.
For example, I have Voyage by Nautica and it's like it's a room spray now.
Oh my! You guys are brutal.
I'm not.
I would. Now that is, it's like
it's reformulated. To be fair.
Oh, you're okay.
Yeah, it's reformulated.
Yeah, I would do that all day.
Yeah.
I mean, it's plastic.
Or Nautica Voyage.
Yeah, it's plastic cap Nautica Voyage. If you got that OG steel cap, save that.
Yeah, it's like if you got the plastic cap, you could just that's closet spray for me.
it could hold that, Tim, how do you feel about this? You have a very interesting perspective on this, mainly because I feel like you also have like a more eccentric collection than most of us here.
I feel like for collection wise, you really should find a purpose to your collection. Now, like I know people have like a love for collecting things, so with especially fragrances, like hoarding is really bad with fragrances. But like in this hobby, you really need to find your purpose. Like for my purpose right now is I want to collect only the most unique scents. Like if I smell something, it's like, man, there's nothing like this on the market, I'll buy it. I just love collecting these unique, like hard to find, creative
fragrances.
Like the reason I own so many bottles really is because like I got into that mindset of like reviewing. You know, when I'm a reviewer, I like
Right.
part of a review.
Right.
Like honestly, if I wasn't a reviewer, I wouldn't have half of my collection. Like
That's
seriously,
damn
like
true.
yeah, like I wouldn't have half of my collection. So like Manny said, don't look at our collection and be like, man, I have so little. No, you're not a reviewer. You don't need this many bottles, and plus, even for reviewers, we don't need this many bottles.
You don't want this many bottles too. This is too many. This is not good. This is not
We're
healthy.
not saying that to like put ourselves on a pedestal.
No, but
or
wait.
anything.
But wait, when you say it's not healthy, that's I think going a little too far.
I didn't say it's not healthy.
It depends.
That was what Brad said.
Yeah.
No,
for me personally, it wasn't.
Go ahead, bro.
Yeah. It's like it got like crazy for me. I'm pretty sure all of us are like this. Once we get really deep into a hobby, we just go crazy and we put it above everything else. That's why this past, especially couple weeks, I'm getting my priorities straight, and I'm going on like a fragrance embargo to somewhat extent. Like I know what I want to finish my collection, and then off the stuff for good, so to speak.
Yeah, and and I'm not saying this to point fingers at anyone or anything, but like I know Brad, for example, like if you're like a student and you want to start a collection, holy crap! And I know
this is the worst idea.
Because you are that. Yeah,
but then again, like if you did the whole Ash, I mean, like, guys, talk to Ashton, guys. Like
he's got it down. Right?
Yo, guys, talk to Ashton. Like, I mean, like he's like, let's put it like this. It's been done a long time. Like, I think there's a lot of YouTubers, fragrance reviewers, or fragrance enthusiasts where we basically like buy a bottle, sell part of it off, and then basically have the bottle without any of our money going into it. And like that's pretty cool. And then boom, if you're not wearing a fragrance,
like I'm a bottle whore. Like when I look at my bottle, I don't like to see it half empty.
Yeah,
really? No, I kind of like to see it full. That's the thing with me. Like if I look at like 1821 man-made sweet tobacco spirit and then it's like half empty, I'm like, man, it doesn't look as cool because it's the yellow that gives it like the cool.
You guys are sick.
Anyway, we like our presentations. What can we say?
Okay, so barring the presentation horror, I'm just gonna close off on this, and we'll get on to our outros in a sec. So good. I just want to say this: if you want to split bottles, that's okay. Just make sure it's not Bonds. Allegedly.
Yeah. Or
allegedly.
Split bottles, like do decants. And that thing really, like if you have a collection that you're not wearing, put that thing on eBay. Like why keep it? Somebody else will love it.
Forums, base notes, Fragrantica, Facebook, they are your friends. Use them, and also make sure if you're going to delve into any business dealings with people, always add that 4% goods and services.
Yeah,
for sure.
Be covered for it.
Protect your investment. Anyway, I want to get to the outros. First of all, I'd love to thank our guest of the evening, and you're all more than welcome to come through anytime. My good friend Amitsu, Simply Put Scents. Please give yourself a 30-second plug. Where can we find you?
You can find me on Simply Put Scents on YouTube. You can find me on Simply Put Scents on everything, pretty much, like Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, and simplyputscents.com. I'm pretty much very easy to find, and I comment and I respond to all my comments, so like I'm really easy to communicate with also. So.
Everyone go leave him at least 5 comments each.
Hashtag CPM. And I want to quickly I quickly want to bring this up too, because I know you're very
put hashtag Imagine Scent every time you put a comment.
That's insane.
Imagine Scent voice.
Oh no.
But one thing I wanted to point out, just because I know you're prolific there, do you want to plug your Fragrantica too? Because I love your reviews there too.
Oh yeah.
I always thumbs them up.
Wow, I didn't even know you guys saw those. I'm on Fragrantica as the Mighty Haru. I know that's not going to be easy to remember or find. Yeah, the Mighty Haru. It's a Egyptian thing.
You can always Google Simply Put Scents Fragrantica, and it will default to that profile. So
really,
you have some fun. Yeah, because like I've Googled you before, and like it would show up that.
Oh yeah, you know why? Because I put Simply Put Scents in my reviews. Yeah,
and in your bio as well.
Yeah.
So that's how that happened.
Yeah, so Google that and check out my Fragrantica. I'm actually thinking about reading some of my reviews on camera, just to see if like I feel the same way about them. Because a lot of those reviews I wrote like 2-3 years ago.
Yeah.
So I'm curious. I'm curious to see like. So I'm
Yeah.
curious to see, like, oh, you're looking at it?
Yeah, I'm looking at your collection, like, man.
Yeah. So he has a crazy collection if you don't already know. But yeah, that's where we're going to end it, guys. Of course, you know where you can find Brad and Tim and myself.
It was a pleasure being here. Thank you guys for inviting me. Appreciate
You're
it.
always welcome
Having
on.
on.
You're always welcome. It was
Yeah.
fun.
Yeah, and actually, you guys stay on for like a quick word afterwards. But yeah, like I'd love to thank all the stream monsters in the chat. Thank you for being awesome. Thank you for all the lovely questions. If we didn't get to any questions here that you might have asked, hopefully you're here next week or wherever this is being hosted, or hashtag tough luck. Who knows? But I'm sorry, guys. But thanks again, Team Top 5. Team Top 5. Sorry, I can't even speak. But we'll see you later. All right.
It's contagious.
Peace.
Yep. Peace.
Peace, guys.